Good evening, it's 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the Northwood Board of Selectmen meeting to order on October 27th, 2017.
October 27th, wow.
August 22nd, pardon me. I guess I need my glasses, I lost them last week. I don't have my glasses tonight, so.
That's all right. Don Hush and I.
Rick Wolf.
Scott Breyer.
Now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. Citizens forum, anybody got any public comment?
Tony Mattress, I own the farm on West Street. I got a request for the select board that an agricultural exception be put in place for ag-related trash and plastics to be disposed of free of charge at the transfer station.
Can I ask what they're charging you for? Just by any chance?
Bale wrap.
The stuff, the big wrap paper that you used to bring in before?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it, bale wrap?
Yeah.
Hay, big hail bales of hay to wrap off it.
Do you know if there's a recycling number on that by any chance?
It's a film.
To film? I know what you're talking about. You used to bring it all the time. I've seen it before. Yeah.
So do you own a farm?
Right.
Yeah.
I know normally in the past, we haven't allowed like restaurants and businesses to bring stuff to the transfer station.
In my experience, I don't know as if I know you personally, but I know what you're talking about. I think you've done this before. He pays taxes, it's technically a household trash, he's not making money off of it.
He isn't,
I
he doesn't sell hay.
He's using it for his own livestock.
Yeah,
Right.
very low profitability. I mean, it's ag, so.
Guess, I don't know. I personally don't see the need to charge you, but that's my opinion. You guys can figure out. I know it's a lot of trash or what to do with it and stuff like that. But
How big? How much are you dumping off? I mean, what's your?
Probably in a year's time, you might fill half a dumpster to a dumpster full.
But it weighs nothing, right? Really, basically, it's more of just the space that it's taking up, correct?
Volume.
Yeah.
I just
I mean, that'd be almost like charging the puzzle guy to get rid of his cardboard. It's the same thing. It's a business. He's running it. I mean, just for instance, I'm not saying we should. It's this along the same principle. You know, he's a business. He's making money off of his puzzles. We're paying to get rid of the cardboard. It's right along that same line.
Well, I thought my understanding was, and again, as a selectman, my understanding was that businesses, household waste from your home,
And any trash that resonates in the town of Northwood, you should read your regulations.
okay, so I take the shingles off my house. Is that?
That
do I
means
have
you
to-
can bring them to the transfer station.
Not free though.
Not free.
Okay.
I guess there's a big difference between shingles and cardboard and plastic.
Well,
It's all
I
right,
just
look at,
think
I guess.
I just think you're going down a slippery slope. If you start with this, and then somebody say, "Well, the agricultural guy gets this. Why am I being differentiate? Discriminating?"
What are they charging you for a load?
I haven't paid anything yet. I mean, it would be whatever the square footage is for the demo, I
Have
guess.
they given you an estimate by any chance?
Yeah, I was there a while ago. I think it was, I forget what it was for pickup bid. Yeah.
How you getting rid of it now?
I'm not.
He was
It's
bringing
piling up right
He
now.
was bringing it to the transfer station until just
And they
recently.
stopped him because he was bringing in a large amount. Or they felt it was a large amount.
What,
Joe knows something about it. Let Joe speak. He knows more about it than I do.
I think I met you down there once before, yeah. It seemed like a lot. It doesn't weigh a lot, but it's very large and very bulky,
And
and
then
we
I
do
don't
charge by
understand-
volume.
I mean, I know our policy is to charge by volume, but I don't know. I have a hard time charging somebody.
where's this getting dumped? Is it going into, it's plastic?
It goes right into demo.
Okay, but is it, I'm just trying to understand what kind of, is it wrap? What is it?
It's
Why,
wrap.
why wouldn't you throw it in, why wouldn't you just throw it in with, regular trash?
Can, as long as the compactor's not full.
Yeah, what I saw, it was a pretty large bundle. There's no way that the compactor would handle it.
Well, we put it in there before, just for your information.
Oh, did you? Yeah, it was.
I mean, I have.
It was quite a bit.
I'm just telling you, we've done it before. I'm not saying that I'm going one way or the other. I'm just saying I've seen it personally done before. It's actually better for the machine. It actually makes it so the trash don't fall out if you can.
If it's at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it before. It's, I guess, one hand washing the other. And like the cardboard guy, for instance, I'll go back to that again. He always called before to make sure we had room. And we'd make sure that he'd call, he'd come down at the end with his big cardboard, make it easier for us.
So why, I'm just asking, I haven't made a decision.
No,
So if we talk about.
I'm just trying to make instances
I
of what
wanna
we're
ask
doing
you a
on
question.
other things that are being used.
So the puzzle place, that's a business, right? So why is that business allowed to do it and other businesses aren't?
What originally, once again, I'm not saying it's not policy, but in the beginning, we were making money off of cardboard, so we wanted them to bring his cardboard. Slowly, we stopped making money. We never stopped it because, once again, it's a small community. It's not like he was bringing box truck full at a time. So, I don't know. It's, what are you to do? I'm not.
Take it under advisement. And
I'm not,
decide what
yeah, I
we're gonna do
mean,
at some point.
I'm not for charging. I mean, I wish we could come up with a situation, I mean, where we could make it feasible, where you called ahead. I don't know what the exact cure to the issue is. I can understand the transfer station in the town's, I guess, obligation to try to charge you because it is taking up the space. But I could see the opposite side too. I mean, you pay in your taxes, it's originating trash from Northwood. It's not like you're bringing it from someplace else to bring there.
But on the other hand, we charge taxpayers $10 to $15 to $20 to put couch and chairs in there.
You know how I feel about that.
I know, but I'm just saying, we've got to.
I'm just saying, I mean, there's a lot of, I'm not saying there's a lot of thin lines.
I just
No,
think
I had
it's a tough,
It's
tough
a really tough situation.
It's all
Everybody
about
does.
fairness. and-
This year as a selectman, I've spent, I've dumped some stuff in there and I've actually paid.
Well, you should.
My point I'm trying to make, DJ, is,
I'm not saying that you should.
so he should too. I think it's,
Yeah, so where do you draw the line what you're paying for? We've had this discussion before. So if I come in with a boat wrap, you're gonna start charging for that? That's about the same size as what he's getting rid of.
You know what I think? This is public comment. He isn't on the agenda
Yeah.
to be here.
We'll take it
I
under-
think we gotta take it under
Take it under
advisement and move on.
Can you come back in a 2
we
weeks
know,
on-
you know what I would
agenda,
suggest,
and
you know
we
what
can
I would
discuss it?
suggest is, why don't you discuss it with the recycle committee and see how they feel about it, cause we take advice from them on how to get rid of, waste and stuff. If they don't see a problem with it, and I think I'd have to get a visual to kinda get an idea what we're talking about, cause, I can tell you right now, if I came down with boat wrap off of my one boat,
That's about
I could roll that up and fit it all in one, I could take that all and put it in one of my big trash bags and throw it in there and nobody would know about it.
I'm sure he could do the same thing if that's what you're advising him to do.
Well, all I'm saying is maybe.
It would take a lot of garbage
Maybe you
bags.
should do it as you get it instead of compiling it into a big bunch and.
Yeah, well, that would be kind of the idea. I mean, I got cut off last summer, so I had to
So did
pile
you
it up
go
for a
in
while.
and did you have a whole pile of it and that's when they said no?
Well, I don't go, you know, whenever I went to the dump once a month or whatever, you know, I had a pile at that time, but it's accumulated since then. You know, it's not like I try to wait till I have a huge mountain of it, but it's just, you know, when it's convenient to. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why I just asked for an ag exception. I mean, it's contributes to the scenic beauty of Northwood and
I
putting.
think we should let him get rid of some of what he's got now, so it doesn't become a hassle, and then take it under advisement. See, he's been holding on to it for all summer. We gotta at least give, like, wiggle a little bit. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. You can make him wait until we advise her, but could be another month before we make a decision.
What you wish.
I'm also, I'll take it under advisement.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do, because if you were on the agenda, we'd make a decision tonight, but we're not on the agenda, it's just public
Do you have a
comment.
formal, I would suggest if you could give the board a example of how much you got down there and how often you plan on bringing it down, some kind of proposal?
Okay, so like a written.
Yeah, just say,
yeah.
this is, I'd like an agricultural exemption. Is there a statute that has, that you can tie it to that says, state says you can? Because I know a lot of stuff, agricultural stuff's exempt.
Yeah. Okay, so
Maybe a rough idea of how often you're gonna come and how much you're gonna bring, just so we kinda gotta,
yeah.
obviously, the exact amount's not gonna be easy, but just a rough idea.
Okay, so in the next couple of weeks, if I got this together and got it to the board here or the recycling committee?
You could do either one, come to us in front of, on
On the
the
agenda.
agenda, and then we can actually sit down and have a discussion.
I mean, without getting a visual, are you coming
Yeah.
down and you got a truck full of this stuff, or you like, I don't know how much, like, I would be surprised if you came down and, you know, you had it all wrapped up, and as long as it was like a ridiculous amount, I'm surprised they even questioned it.
Because it looks so bulky.
I can-
It's not,
I
it's
mean, I
not.
can put it in bags.
It's not, it has nothing to do with how much it is, it looks way bigger than what you're really doing. Think about it, when you go by Johnson's and you see those big bales of hay,
Yeah.
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, those big plastic wraps.
Exactly, you put 10 or
But when you
15
got
of
200 or
those.
300 of them, it makes a big bundle.
Well, I guess 200 or 300, 200 or 300's a lot to feed in a month, I guess.
Well, like I said, I mean,
I don't know anything about farming, so 200 or 300 might be a small amount for all I know.
My accumulation for a year now is probably a quarter of a dumpster. I
How
mean,
many
it's
bales of
sitting
hay do
around.
you go through a year?
I don't,
rolls?
well, I don't know exactly, but I'm just saying the
Rough
accumulation
idea,
of
rough
a
idea.
year's worth of hay is, like I said, about a quarter of a dumpster in volume right now is what I have sitting around that it needs to. So just to give you an idea of per year, per volume, I mean, I could narrow it down as far as the numbers go a little more, if that would be helpful.
All right.
I'm
Any
convinced.
other public comment? We're gonna move on.
I'd say just get on the agenda in 2 weeks and try to have a little bit more information.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other public comment at this time? Seeing no public comment, we're gonna move on. Do we have a public hearing? No? No. All right, we're gonna move on to appointments. The first appointment is with the Conservation Commission.
Hi, my name is Grace Levergood. I'm the Chair of the Conservation Commission, and I was asked to come and discuss with you about the Bear Paw easement on Bennett Island. The Commission has voted to put some money towards that easement, and we have Dan Kern here to answer any questions about the easement. One of the things that is involved with the easement is that we have to ask the Selectmen whether they will support the town holding an executory interest in the Northwood land that's on the island. It's about a 10-acre island Northwood owns about .7 acres of it, so it's not that much of a big deal, but it is,
Is it open to the public?
it will not be, as I understand.
Yeah, if it's not open to the public, if it was open to the public, I'd be open to supporting that, but if it's not open to the public, I'm not open to supporting that. That's just my position.
Yeah,
That's mine too.
I think we kind of discussed that when we were gonna put it on the ballot, but
I think if you're gonna use town funds to pay for something, an easement or something, that, is supposed to be like a nature or natural easement, that, the taxpayer should have access to that property.
yeah. Well, we did discuss maybe having a one day a year or a couple of days a year to have like a, an educational tour there. Okay, that's your position?
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
When you're next?
Good evening. Thanks for seeing me. I got two items I wanted to bring up. The first is as agents to expend out of the special duty fund. I come to you to ask permission or authority to purchase a cruiser out of there at this point. Looking to expend up to $45,500 to purchase, equip, and decal a new cruiser. Currently, as of today, we have there's $68,335.28 in that fund, with an additional $40,000 that just got billed out to the companies. And there's a
40,000 in car fees, like in the cruiser fees?
total, so officer and,
Okay, so it's not 65, you got 65 and you're not saying you're adding 40 to it?
you'll add 40 to it, but then there will be a transfer between
So how much-
Sandy from,
So how much of that amount can actually be used for a cruiser?
right now, the 68,000 is in there, so everything's been paid out up until this point. That 40,000 will then go in, and then
So out of that,
treasurer will bill Sandy to transfer for the payment of the
so out of
officers.
that 40,000, what are we talking, 5 grand, 6 grand maybe? You can use to-
Probably a little higher, but yeah, right around there.
just a quick question. What type of cruiser are you getting? Just a stand, what we have now?
So
or
it'd be an SUV, one of the Explorers.
one of the Explorers?
Yep.
Okay. And which vehicle are you keeping all your fleet, or are you
No,
trying to
so-
get rid of one?
The reason I'm doing this now is that our maintenance is done by Northwood Garage, and they are very concerned with the 2010 that we still have, the 2005 we still have, and the 2007 we still have, with rust. They are very concerned that basically they're rusting out from underneath in next month's inspection, so we may have a serious problem trying to get the 07 and the 10 through inspection because of the rust. So I would kind of take both of those cars to them and say, which one should we get rid of, which one should we keep, so.
What, I kind of understand what you're doing. Now we have those, when's the lease up on?
This year, this was the
This
final.
year. So we would you're looking to buy this cruiser immediately?
Yes.
Okay. And then when would you be looking to replace the 3 cars that the lease is up on?
So ideally, and I put it in the CIP, that we go back to how we used to do it with 1 car in the budget every year. That gives the car cycle about a 6-year lifespan, which is just about how far you want to be pushing these cars. So we can stay in front of the maintenance.
So, okay, because we bought 3 cars at once, right?
Yeah, we leased 3, but there was a cruiser accident, so we ended up getting 4 altogether within a couple of months.
So out of those 3 cars are still in, except for the one that got in the accident, those 3 cars are still in good shape?
Yeah, they're all got high mileage, but structurally they're sound, so
You're worried about the Crown Vics is what?
the Crown Vics we really need
Oh,
to
yeah,
get.
yeah.
We need to get rid of these. They're old,
If they got the,
05 is,
if they got the money in the account,
my other quick question isn't, and this isn't really pertaining to anything, is how long will it take to accrue enough money to possibly buy another cruiser? Like, so say, just for instance, are we putting ourselves in a bind if we don't put cruisers on the budget like you're talking about every year? Like, how long would it take us to get enough money to get another cruiser if we were to do this?
So we established
Roughly,
this
obviously.
in 2012, I think. I don't remember.
A rough idea.
It was when Bob Holden was selectman, so we
Are we
established.
gonna-
Is this the first time we've purchased a car out of
Yes, it's the
this?
first time we've touched
So
this
the
account.
68,000 has been since whatever
About
that
5
was.
years, 4 or
Yeah.
5 years, I would say.
So we'd be, on this pace, we'd be able to get one about every 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not against doing it. I mean, if we're getting a standard, what we have now, we're not trying to get a different vehicle, so, I mean, we're staying with what we have.
This is gonna be fully equipped, right?
Yes.
Lights, radios, everything's brand new.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm asking 45.5 because I'm going brand new on everything.
Are you buying this through the state contract?
So I've got a quote from a Mass contract, which I can buy under, and the New Hampshire contract. Right now, they're transitioning, so it may be, the price that I've got right now are for 2017s. Stop orders were about 2 weeks ago for 2017s, so you may see maybe a 3% increase. It's like
Because of the price of the.
Monday, they're doing 2017s, Tuesday, they're
So
doing
yeah,
2018s.
which price is better, the mass price or the?
The New Hampshire price is 28,486,
Yeah.
and the Mass price 28,697, so within $200 of each other.
Okay.
That's before you gotta pay the mass tax too, right? We still
You don't
pay
have
the
to pay it.
You don't have
Because
to
they
pay it?
register it up here.
You don't have to
That's
pay
where
it.
you
I don't know how that
register
all works, but I'm not against it. I mean, I look at it this way. We gotta do it, so it's less money out of the town's pockets. We've saved this money. He's purchasing basically a standard vehicle, not standard, but the same idea of what we already have, so it's not like all of a sudden this new vehicle's gonna show up that nobody's ever seen before. I mean, it's gonna kind of blend in, and I'm like, hey, where'd that come from? Where'd the money come from that? And you know that's what will happen if we get something different, but.
When will we see
Two of the
it?
I
Crown
mean-
Vics still have the old blue paint scheme too, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm okay.
When will we see the purchase order?
How you feel?
I could call, I mean, if I get the approval tonight, I call tomorrow and find out. Irwin told me he had some cars coming in, 2017s that hadn't been picked up yet,
Yeah.
but that was a month ago, so I don't know what's happened. If he's
What are you
gonna
looking
have
for tonight, a motion to allow you to go forward to?
to go forward and place the order.
I don't have a problem with it. I just have one quick question. When we trade in some of the cars, or when we get rid of the cars, the 3 new ones that we bought at one time, when we start replacing those, are we gonna have to do the whole thing, lights, equipment, radios, that's all gonna be
need, yeah.
outdated by then?
Yeah, so we did that equipment fund, so we can start kind of picking away at it a little bit and have a emergency fund. But we really need to start, the light bars all of our equipment is over 10 to 12 years old, and they've been recycled through the cars at least twice.
Can I just ask that we get the purchase order in before we actually get the car?
Sure. What's that?
You want to fill one out?
No, he can't
I don't
fill it
know
out
which-
till he
I don't-
knows how much it's
Yeah.
gonna be
I
for.
thought we had.
No, I'll do the purchase order as
So
soon
you
as.
gotta do a purchase order and then you do the lights and stuff separate?
So I'll need to do a purchase order for the cruiser.
Yeah.
I'll need to do a purchase order for the equipment.
Not what you thought it was.
I don't have a problem. I'm ready to move
I
on.
think
if
it's
you
So
good
want.
I'll make,
idea, I mean-
okay, do you wanna make do we need I'll make a motion to allow the, police department, the police chief to, order a cruiser.
In the amount of what, roughly?
Well, he's got, do you know what the price is gonna be?
Roughly.
So like I said, it depends on what I have to do. If I have to go to 2018s, the price is gonna be so that's why I asked maybe up to like 45.5.
You think that'll cover it?
28,000,
Gives them a little wiggle room. I mean, if you had
Yeah.
to come back and say, hey, it's 46 or something, I mean,
these numbers right here brings me up to like 42.
so it gives
So
you
if
some
you
wiggle
add
room.
3% to that and give me some wiggle room in case they say, you're not getting one until you're
What are you
20.
happy with? What amount are you happy with?
45.5.
All right, make it for
Up to.
45.
Make a motion to allow the police chief to spend up to $45,000 to purchase a new cruiser. Do you have the make and model?
So it would be a
17 or whatever.
Or a second
Ford
one.
Utility Police Interceptor.
Ford Utility Police Interceptor, either a 2017 or a 2018, depending on when he places the order. Total cost of the vehicle, including equipping the vehicle, shall not exceed $45,000.
500, 45.5.
45.5?
Yeah.
45,500.
45,500.
I'll second that. For any further discussion?
Seeing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. As we're moving into the budget season, I just wanted to kind of get a direction on the safety complex, what the board's view is. We've been kind of kicking the can down the road now for probably the better part of 6 to 7 years.
Can I start off?
Go ahead. You spoke first.
No, I'm just
You got the
asking,
floor.
Mr. Chairman.
You got the floor, you spoke first.
My thought is if we can, I think we need to put, my opinion is we have a safety complex like a lot of other towns where it's a shared safety complex. You got emergency management there, fire department and police department. That being said, I think we need to, what's the status of the committee?
So that's what I was going to go into. So the committee met, we put it on the ballot to do a study. I think doing a study killed us. I think people see study and see
Nervous.
why are we spending money on a study. We've looked at it. The committee was all in favor of a safety complex. It's widely accepted. I think that's the way to go. You've got a station that's on the fire department on Route 4 that's.
But don't you have to have, not to interrupt you, but don't we need to have an engineer come in and draw up a plan?
So that's what I'm trying to get at. So we did all that. It's widely known, let's do a safety complex.
Yeah.
Last year, I put in a warrant article to add $10,000 to the expendable trust fund, safety complex expendable trust fund. That would have given us, I think, around $22,000 in that account.
Yeah.
That would have been able to bring in a firm, to do an RFP, bring in a firm to design. It was in for a conceptual design. They would also help you find land, hold public hearings, help you sell it to the taxpayers. It was taken off the ballot last year, so it never made it to the voters. So now that's why I'm kind of here to find out. We really need.
How much would you need to hire the now the consulting firm's gonna do the engineering and everything? Like if we put this price out there, it's gonna be all-inclusive, but it's not gonna build the building, obviously, but it's gonna get us the engineering plan and the ability.
I gave that all to you last year. I had one of the companies on their own dime said, this is what we'll do for you, did up a packet, and they said they could give us a pretty good package for the 22. They can do more with as much as you want to spend. But I think we're at the precipice now that we need to make a decision whether we're either going to fix the buildings that we have, because there's a bunch of things that I'm not doing at the PD because I don't want to put a lot of money into this building
Wow.
that we hopefully want to get out of.
Can we set up a meeting, Mr. Chairman, where we have, can we get a conversation going with the fire department and the police department and the board, police commission, to discuss? I guess the decision has to be made, and because I know that some people have spoken to me about, I guess there's some issues going, not issues, but they have the whole thing with the sleeping quarters down at the fire department. My understanding is you got issues with the trucks, the exhaust and so forth. Do they build sleeping facilities down at the Narrows? Kind of, from what I've heard, we don't want to spend any more money down at the Ridge.
So we kind of did that. I mean, I don't know if you remember, we actually even did a video that was Gary's.
I know, but a lot of times, what my concern is if you don't have everybody at the table when we're discussing these plans, somebody feels left out.
No,
feels slighted.
I agree, absolutely. But I'm just looking to see if we can start moving forward on budgetary.
Yeah, I'm
um,
fine with moving forward, I just wanna make sure, I'll put it right out there, I wanna make sure the fire department and the police department are on the same page, because sometimes these things will happen and we move ahead of something without getting the whole picture, and like I said, I just wanna make sure we're all in the same.
And we did do that. I mean, the fire department was on that committee, emergency management was on the committee, so everything, we did that 3 or 4 years ago, that, hey, you know, this is what we took tours of other buildings, what worked, what didn't work. So we were kind of in a really good place a couple of years ago, and then we kind of did a study instead of moving it forward a little further, and I think people just kind of balked at spending money on studying something rather than,
Well, I know, so yeah, you're gonna go forward with like, we're gonna do this.
I mean, I would like to come in March at town meeting, say, this is what the building's gonna look like, this is where it's gonna go, this is how it's gonna be designed. And they have the soup to nuts answers on every single thing they wanna know about that building.
Oh, you wanna spend the money before March?
No. So I would like my warrant article go back on the budget ballot this year.
Yeah.
To get voted on, to put the money into the trust fund for us to go out on an RFP to bring in a company
Then the
that will.
following March, you'd be coming with the designs and all that.
Right, so the following year, so from this March to next March, they hold the public
And
hearings,
Chief-
they find us
I don't-
land, they buy
I don't
us.
foresee anything, in my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with that if the people vote
I
on it.
just
I'm a
want-
strong believer whether my opinion on this and my vote is one vote, if the people were to say, yeah, we want to go forward, then that's obviously they want to go forward.
I'd just like to
just
talk with,
I agree with you as far as
I
making
wanna
sure
talk- I
everybody's
wanna
on the
talk
same
to Chief-
page.
I wanna talk to, get the two chiefs and say.
Yeah,
Chief
I agree with
Bassett,
that.
Are you in concurrence
100%.
with Glenn to move forward
Yeah.
with this?
I agree with
just
that
wanna-
100%,
I wanna make sure both chiefs are in agreement.
He was the representative on that committee.
I
so-
know that, but I
okay.
mean, I haven't talked to him about this in like a year.
All right, I don't want
But
you to
I'm
think I'm
okay,
trying
But
to.
as far as putting it on a ballot to see if the taxpayers vote on it, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they deserve the right to at least try to vote on it. I mean, whether it passes or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just last year, it just
All
got
up
it
to the
removed, and
Yeah.
I was kind of left holding the bag, so I didn't know what was going on.
The only feeling I have, if it's gonna be too much money, it's gonna be a hard sell.
Yeah, that's my concern is that it's
It's $1.5
gonna-
million, $2 million.
Right.
I don't think it'll happen in this town.
Well, I mean, but
If it's too
My biggest
extravagant,
concern
it
is
isn't
they're gonna
gonna
vote
work.
in,
I think
spending
that's
the
my
money.
job, and.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't think it's gonna work
Oh,
at this time.
I
I'm
don't,
not
The
saying they don't.
taxpayers are, we have people that are in
You know
tax
what, though?
trouble, we have a lot of tax money out, and
We got people, I know that there's towns like, you gotta take a shot at it, and
maybe 2 or 3
Sometimes-
years, but
you
We've gotta
might
get
go,
to that
yeah,
point.
2,
Be
3 years.
surprised
Look at Bo still hasn't gotten his
if you
opinion.
ask for too much,
They
you know
did?
what's gonna happen.
But it was like 3 or 4 times.
some get it first whack, some get it third whack, but
You gotta put
We're
it
at
out-
that
I
point
mean,
where we gotta put it out there
realistically-
to
Problem
people.
putting it out there, but I'm just saying,
I just-
it's too much money.
My biggest concern would be is
But there's a
that
warrant
they
article,
get,
it's not us saying no.
and it's also a bond.
I realize that, Scott.
yeah, and it's not all gonna be coming
You
out of the
propose
taxes.
$1.5 million or $2 million in this town, it'll never pass.
No, let's be optimistic. Let's not go in
It won't pass.
head negatively.
I'm not negative, it just won't pass.
Let's be optimistic.
It won't work, I'm telling
Wonder
you.
if you bonded it.
That's what I'm,
You'd have to bond it,
Yeah,
that's
my
why we
cons-
kind of moved ahead a couple of years ago, because the school bond was ending. So it would have been a nice transition into this bond where it wouldn't have been an increase, but, you know, now we've kind of missed that.
Overspent that by more than they got before.
My only concern is that we move forward and they vote in doing the
Plan.
survey, the plans, and then you come back the following March with the plans, and people are like, oh my God, this isn't what we, not to say that you're gonna come across the wrong, and they look at the buildings like, wow, this is way more than what we thought, you know?
And you know what? And then they come back and we look at that and say, okay,
Yeah,
we
you
got to
can
trim
tone
here
it,
and cut
yeah,
there.
that's my only concern with this, that whole, the
And
whole
that's,
scenario.
I mean,
But
I went to a
like
whole
Scott
class.
said, you gotta, I'm not
You
saying
gotta
that-
start somewhere.
I don't disagree with,
understand that.
I
I've
don't
been
disagree
building all
with
my
Rick.
life,
I'm a little
but if you ask for
optimistic
too
that it
much-
will pass, but who knows? Stranger things have happened.
I just don't want to do a lot of legwork between now
And
in
mark, and then
December.
have us take it off.
And then all of a sudden, get an email saying, hey, last night your warrant article's taken off, and all the work I did,
That's
you
understandable.
know, that was a little
That's
defeating.
completely
So
understandable.
I'm just looking to find out that if I present something and I bring in a warrant
Yeah, I
article
don't see why
to
we-
start moving this forward, I don't care if I hear no 3 or 4 years in a row. You know, it happens,
yeah,
it
you
happens
can't
with
control that.
full-time, it happens. But the more you tell people and the more they learn, the better chances you have. That's all I'm asking you to do is it doesn't cost us anything to ask the people to vote on it. So that's, I'm just looking to move this, you know, we keep talking about it, and like I said, like 7 years now, we've been saying, you know, we're having injuries because of the buildings are a certain way, and there's liability issues, there's all kinds of things that play into this. So I just want to move this forward, and if I hear no, I'm okay with that.
I think letting it go to the town voters is not anything that's not allowed. I don't see an issue with letting it go there.
But I'm fine with that.
Okay.
You, Rick?
Whatever.
I mean, it's up to the voters.
I'm just gonna
up to the
preface,
voters.
I just wanna make sure you, and
I
I
just
think
wanna
you
give
are
them
this, I just wanna.
proper chance.
Make sure Chief Bassett and
Mm-hmm.
both you guys are on board with moving forward together.
Yeah, I can tell you that myself, Chief Bassett, and Bob Young from Emergency Management had several meetings about, you know, things we'd like to see in the building, and so unless something's changed
I'm okay with
recently,
moving forward.
everyone's on board to move this building into one, and, I mean, eventually it'll save money, because you're paying for one building rather than utilities on 2 separate buildings. I mean, there's different
It's gonna be quite
grants
the
you can
sell
do,
process
so.
to the town, but it's not impossible.
And I can even bring in the company to speak with you at a future meeting that did the proposal last year to explain what you'll get exactly for your money. He was more than happy to do that last year, so.
They do that in every town before they build a building.
Yeah. But this, I mean, we're not paying them any money, then they're still willing to come in and tell you, you pay us this, and this is what we'll pay for, you know, this is what we'll do for you, this is, you know.
Now, I know the surveyor has a lot to do with this, but do you have any just ideas of where you might want to put it, just for instance? Just to, obviously, not, this is all subject to change, just to.
So there's a couple of issues. There's been certain talk, you know, when that committee was on, they talked about certain areas, you know, putting it across from the school. Well, the problem is if you have an event at your school, you've now shut down your safety complex.
Yep.
So that may not be the best location for it. It needs to be from maybe the ridge that way, because if you move it down this way, now you've got both your fire departments on the same end of town,
There's an insurance
and
issue.
now you have insurance issues for the other people, and now they're not
Talking
within a
like
certain
down towards
amount.
like a Hannaford's type deal?
Well, on your insurance premiums, you get a rating, I think it's called, of being X miles away. So if you move everything down, you're gonna,
Yep.
so it would stay down somewhere east, on the east end of town somewhere. I've had a couple of ideas of where to put it, but, you know,
Obviously,
I
that's
don't
up
want to
to-
talk
yeah,
about
exactly.
that
It's
now,
just-
you know, but,
There is some good land down there available right
That's
now,
what-
right near the intersection down
yeah,
there.
so,
There's a couple of big
Like
parcels.
Scott said, we gotta at least put it out there. I mean,
I don't
what's the
have a
worst that's
problem
gonna
putting it out
happen? If they say yes, then we move forward. That was the taxpayer's decision.
and I'll send out emails tonight to Bob Young and Chief Bassett to let them know we had this talk, and I'll get a meeting going again together, and make sure everyone's still on the same page, and I'll get the warrant article drafted up to get that money in that fund, and
See what happens.
I'd really like to see this happen before I retire, so.
If people want to buy it, they can buy it. It's their tax money.
I mean, because, I mean, if you guys don't support it, we're gonna have to do something at the PD, and that's gonna be like polishing a sneaker. You know, the building just doesn't fit our needs anymore, and we keep throwing money into it. We're throwing good money after bad, so, it's, I don't know if you ever had a tour, but you're more than welcome to come down and see it.
Not that I'm aware of recently.
So,
Have you had previous ones?
I've been to the one when it was downstairs where Judy is. I'm not afraid to admit it. Yeah, I've been in there before.
Watch the video.
Watch the video.
Watch the video.
What video?
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I'm sure there is one.
oh, no, the video that we did for,
Yeah,
the
they did a
deficiencies
video.
on the both buildings, we did tours, we did,
I remember when you guys were downstairs here.
so,
All right.
thank you.
Any other comment?
No, I try not to go inside.
You're gonna be able to do that thing next
Yes.
couple weeks? Okay.
Yep.
just a quick touch on it. I know this really has nothing to do with us, but do you have any other plans on the new busing issue with the traffic on Route 4 by any chance?
I did,
Any
so-
updates on like what you have for plans to?
I met with the
Deal with
principal
that.
today. We started talking about plans.
You know, it's really don't.
It's going to be the
pertain to us,
lesser
but-
of a few evils.
Yeah.
There's no really great plan for this. That Bow Street intersection is just a death trap.
Yeah, it is pretty bad there.
So anything involving that intersection is bad. We've talked about changing the flow of cars again, maybe going in Bow Street and coming in the back entrance and coming up.
By the firehouse.
But then the problem is you run into that the buses you do have will be out front. You can't go past the bus while they're unloading kids. So all those parents are going to be sitting there while all those buses are unloading. People need to get to work. It's going to be a nightmare because that straight entrance right there is a do not enter. And they were considering maybe changing that. And I said, you're accepting all liability if you push anybody through that do not enter sign. So they quickly changed their
Oh,
mind
it's
on
just a
that.
quick question, because I know it's a big topic.
Yeah,
around town right now.
we're looking at it. I mean, we're definitely going to have a presence down there with the officers trying to help out as much as possible. I believe they're going to try to pick up a new crossing guard
Yeah, I
at
saw
both
that.
entrances. So it's a bad spot.
Yeah.
And whether you have buses or not, it's always been a challenge to how you get that many parent drop-off plus that many buses in that confined space. So
We all know if we back traffic up there, there's gonna be a rear-end collision if the road is blocked and, you know, the traffic doesn't move.
those are the issues we
You
had
know what's
last
gonna
year.
happen. And then people trying to get out of Ridge Road and out of the mobile, it's like.
And then
Glenn
you add in
says,
the solar glare that's always going on at the
Yeah,
exact same
right there,
time.
it's coming up
So,
right by the
it's
school. It's
bad.
really bad right there. Oh, yeah.
So it's,
All right.
I
I
wish
just
you
wanted
well.
to
yeah,
take
we're
that
working
real
on,
quick.
we're definitely in talks with them to try to get it going and smoothly and safely as possible, so,
Good luck.
thanks.
That was just a question.
Hopefully we don't have any accidents involving children in cars
Yeah.
getting rear-ended. Anything else?
Anything else?
Thank you.
All set?
Appreciate it, thank you.
No problem.
Good night.
Jim Hadley don't look like he's here.
Jim Hadley did May. He said he might be a little late. He's coming up from
All right,
Boston.
so we're gonna pass them over.
Yeah.
Gonna go to unfinished business.
Yep.
Is there-
So we've been talking, Sandy and I have been talking about creating some standard operating procedures for the town of Northwood. This is something that we just don't have, and it's sorely lacking in town hall. The first one I'm asking the board to approve is the timesheet submission and processing standard operating procedure. This was brought about because of our audit, and we got pinged with inaccurate timesheets. This will help standardize how all departments will fill out and submit their timesheets.
So is this kind of like trying to cure the discussion we had the other day about time cards and stuff?
Can I?
No, we've actually just by hammering home to the departments to fix it, but we wanted to hand them out something in paper and say, this is what the problems are and this is how you should do it.
So, why can't, and we can put this in the policy, but why can't we create a template and have them fill it out, on an Excel template?
We can do that. We currently have an Excel template that most staff use.
So, so you get, and actually, what we do at the state is we got it set up, using, like military time, where, you know, you come in at 800 hours and you leave take lunch at 1200 hours, and you work from 1 to 4, which would be 1600 hours to, at the end of the day, like when I put mine, it's like 16, 15. But that way, if you've got it locked down where they can only, and that way, everybody's filling in a consistent timesheet, that makes sense.
Yeah, and we currently have a template that folks use.
So who's using that right now?
Most people.
Fire department using it?
Fire department uses
Do
it.
they fill it out and send it to you in an email?
No, there's only rec uses email right now.
So why can't they fill it out and attach it to an email?
They can.
Well, they gotta sign it too, right?
No.
Suppose they could sign something in the beginning that submission of this is the same as signing it?
No, we talked to the auditor and the lawyer, and I reached out to some other towns, and the email is actually considered a signature.
Because they're sending it.
Yeah, because it comes from their email, but there's also a box with the email form we use for them
It
to.
says, I filled this out.
Yeah.
Okay. So is the policy in here?
The procedure is in there, yes.
I have just a quick, just reading over some of this. As far as putting in for vacation and collecting time and stuff like that, holidays, I don't see like a set amount of days it has to be in beforehand. I mean, it's kind of vague, like just pass it in before. I think we need to put like some sort of like, most places have like, it needs to be in 2 weeks before the day that you decide that you're leaving. Week, I don't know, whatever you would work best for our pay scale, but I know most places set, like, if you don't have your request in for a day off in a certain amount of time before you need it off, it generally is, not saying it won't be okayed, but it's less likely to be okayed. That's just something I saw that kind of points out at me.
The policy, and I'm not saying we have to use this policy, but where I work, you're required to submit it at least 3 days in advance if you want a day off.
But yeah, it's true. It's different at every
And-
place.
and
We're
then-
2 weeks here. It's just something that has a time frame that says, hey, you know, it's, I guess, another accountability thing. It could, 3 days is reasonable, and as far as I'm concerned, but it's really, it's a scheduling thing is what would be my concern as far as days notice. I mean, obviously, some departments, it's more crucial than others, how many days you give in advance.
So if you were gonna go to electronic, like, I'm calling electronic, it's not true electronic because we don't have a form, but if we were gonna go to electronic, send them by email, wouldn't it be up to would have to be some provision where they forward it to the department head and the department head forwards it in?
I would imagine, yeah, because the department head has to approve it, so it would go to department first and then to Sandy.
Did you discuss these with did you get any input from the department heads?
Sandy and I for this, it was just Sandy and me, since she's the one that's on the back end dealing with the problems that's been coming up.
I think you should, have a working group where you take the supervisor from each department and get their feedback before you finalize this.
I bring it up at my next staff meeting.
Does somebody from the police department come to those, or would, I guess the police department would be up to the commission?
No.
Gonna do what they wanna do anyway.
We always invite Glenn. If he's around, he comes and
Okay,
They're their own entity.
but figure out a way that, with the idea, like, we wanna do these, but I think you need to get feedback from the people that actually gotta fill them out.
we can do that.
Or concerns that you don't have to do exactly what they say, but get their concerns, like, what are the problems you see completing your timesheet? You know, kind of get an idea why there is problems, maybe we're missing something in the process that we don't understand, that Sandy's might not be seeing because she's sitting here and they're down and they're actually working and stuff.
Yep, fair enough. All right, we'll kick that back out to staff. The second one was an operating procedure for the hiring process. Again, this came up because there really is no standardized way to do this here in Northwood. A lot of times it's just what the board says or what Sandy said, or, and then there's confusion. What do we do? How do we do it? Same thing here, we need to
On the
standardize
criminal background check,
this. Are you looking at the right? Not the right one.
that's what was in my packet.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
You should have that. You
I
should
have
also
criminal
have something.
background
that
check,
looks like
physical
This one
exam.
here,
Hiring process.
There you go.
this is standard operating procedure for hiring staff. This
Yeah.
one here,
Yeah, right here.
There you go.
You got it right here.
the one I've got.
if you notice, there's a lot of information in here about hiring, having youth employment. This, DJ, back to the question of this is correcting something. This is in particular correcting the problem we had with hiring
I was
lifeguards.
just gonna ask that, is this new where it says departments are responsible for ensuring the Board of Selectmen knows its staffing requirements? Is that something you added, or was that always like, or is this because we didn't have something, this is what you're suggesting?
The departments are always required to let you guys know what their staffing requirements are. This particular
So what-
procedure is new.
To go back on that, not to stir up old wounds, so what really happened when the beach attendant then, because that basically says right there that our staff should know the requirements.
How many staff we need, not,
Well, when it says requirements, I would assume that would mean they should know the laws and what it means and who we can hire and who we can't hire.
I agree with you.
I just say it just says it. I'm not saying that it's a wound that's pretty much healed now. It's just something that's, maybe we should have looked at that when it happened.
And this is to correct that. Hey, I'm with you. That's what this process is to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, you just said that that's always been our practice, but it happened once. So obviously that wasn't our practice.
was
I
obviously
think you're
an
reading that
error.
wrong.
I mean, I'm not saying it was an error. I'm just saying it kind of, what you're saying kind of contradicts what you just said.
You're reading that sentence wrong.
Okay.
It's my job to tell you what my requirements are for staffing. So if I need, say, another dump attendant, I have to come and say, DG, I need two dump attendants.
I understand that.
That's okay.
But, in that defense, it's also your job to know the laws and what it requires us to hire people. But I'm not gonna go there tonight.
All right,
We'll go there a different night.
all right.
Let's move on.
I don't like this, so you're gonna keep these frequently asked questions in here?
Yes,
This is a policy, not a FAQs, that's for like, that should be a separate document. You shouldn't have the frequently asked questions in your policy document, that should be an advisory document that's separate from your policy document.
It's not a policy, if you flip all the way to the back, this is supporting the Board of Selectmen's hiring policy. These are just frequently asked questions to inform staff on what they need to know while they're
Yeah,
doing
but I
this
guess,
procedure.
okay, so if we sign this tonight, isn't this what we're signing?
Yes,
So I'm signing a policy that has frequently asked questions in it.
this is not a policy, this is a procedure. This is how you go about supporting the Board of Selectmen's policies.
It just blows my mind that we haven't had a policy this long for hiring people.
There is a policy.
There's a policy, there's not a procedure.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
They technically aren't the same thing.
Technically.
I mean,
Policy is,
get
kinda
it.
like the law, and the procedure's how you, enforce it, like
The
it.
question is, Scott, the real question is, are we gonna follow either one of them? Chances are probably not. Because we don't now. And that's fact. Because I can come up
Have we
with a few
planned on signing these tonight, or are we just reviewing them, or what are we doing?
I'm asking for approval for both of them, but in particular, this one with the hiring policy. We do have a meeting with Department of Labor on the 28th. It'd be nice to be able to go into their office and say, look, we've made corrections to our policies and procedures, and this will not happen again.
I don't think we need this completed by the time we go to the 28th.
Personally, I think that just makes us look more guilty.
Yeah, I don't,
Oh, no.
I'm not worried about that here, about we go in there, we'll just tell them what happened and, tell them what we did to rectify it. And, we're basically, I'm not gonna rush through developing policies for a hearing next week. That's,
Oh.
yeah, so.
Plus our policy isn't gonna change what the actual law is. I mean, We could write a policy to our face turns blue, but if we don't follow the law, our policies don't mean nothing. I mean, theoretically, our policy can read, we're not supposed to hire somebody unless they're 16, but if we hire, obviously the law says we can't hire them. If we could say, well, we can hire somebody if they're 15 and they got working papers, but the law says we can't.
Well, actually, you could hire, if we had a pool, you could hire the 15.
I know, but my point is if the law said, policy should be whatever the law is. You shouldn't have to write it. Whoever's hiring should know that, hey, we can't hire these people to do this job because they're not old enough. You shouldn't have to write it in a policy.
I'll be truthful. I have not read through these policies, and I'm not ready to vote on them tonight. So, I'm not ready to vote on these tonight without giving.
I do have some questions on one of them if we're gonna get into that one. One about the lunches.
Yes.
I think it is tactful to have people eat lunch and have to do their job
State
and
law,
get
they
up
have
and
to
go to
take
the
it anyways.
window, and I don't know what's going on with the fire department, the police department, some other departments getting paid for not taking their lunches. I don't quite understand how that can happen.
I don't have that one, apparently.
I just think it's tactful if you walk into a business and people are sitting at their desk eating lunch and they get up and come to serve you and they got a mouthful of food and, you know, I just don't think it's good practice to have people eating dinner and still be on the time clock and serving taxpayers or whoever might come into any business. I don't care if it's a car dealership. I just think it's bad business.
I don't disagree with you, Rick, but I see it a lot, not just in other places too. Not saying that it's right, but there's certain days where we might only have one employee at a certain job because of scheduling issues as far as full-time employees, part-time employees. What are you gonna do? Shut down?
They do now. They shut down for lunch every day. That's what we've been doing for many years. Huh? Who? I see people sitting up here, many of them, eating lunch together.
Yeah, but I've
There's
also
5
come-
of them. Maybe you don't,
I've
but
also seen.
they do
I've
up
also
here.
been here when they were eating lunch, and yeah, it's me, and they're gonna help me, but I've also seen them take time out of their lunch to bring me into their office and let me do my stuff. Whether or not they still take their half hour or not, I don't really watch. I think there's certain jobs that it's really tough to fully expect them to, I guess, yeah, they shouldn't get paid for it, they should take their half-hour lunch. Completely agree with you, 100%. But, for instance, I don't want to use you for instance, but if you're by yourself, or the transfer station, somebody calls out, Joe's by himself, the highway department, yeah, they're keeping an eye on him, but he can't technically leave his station to go to lunch because there's nobody else to help him.
well, by law, there shouldn't be anybody in that position.
He's
Especially
not
at the
by,
transfer
he's technically not by himself. I'm not saying you're not right, because they are down there. There's certain, we've had this discussion before, because when Steve was there, it used to happen. Not saying it happens now, just trying to use an example of where it might not work.
They go to lunch one at a time down there. I've watched them quite a bit.
When they're both there, I agree. But sometimes they're not
There's not
both
supposed to
there.
be anybody there alone, so.
Well, why don't we, you know what I'll suggest, it's, well, I'm not gonna say, I have not fully read this, and I just found, I'm not getting into it, but I find a couple things in here that should be corrected. So I'd like to bring this up at the next meeting.
Fine with me.
That's fine. I think everybody deserves a lunch. Let me get that straight.
I do too.
I'm just saying that there's certain positions and certain days that it's not as easy as just.
So you're saying this
Going somewhere
background
to
check
take
is
a
a
look.
separate thing from?
There's always 3 to
It's in
4
here,
women
but
in
this
this
is the
office in
board.
here
Oh, I
at
know.
all times.
I understand this town hall is different. I'm talking about like
A lot of small offices,
transfer station percent. I'm not trying to single out a certain
So
department.
so then we're gonna start paying
smaller-
through, we're gonna start paying everybody through lunch.
No, I'm not saying paying
that's not what I
through
said. I said,
Well, that's what's going on with the other departments,
I'm
and
not
that's
saying
what they
that
want.
shouldn't happen.
They wanna be paid, they sit at their desk and eat their lunch.
That
Is
should.
that what you wanna do?
no, what
That shouldn't happen.
ideally, which I probably shouldn't say this, but ideally, it'd be nice if they could take, yeah, actually, what happens when I take my lunch, I actually leave the building. Because I
that's
don't
what-
want to be
That's their
interrupted.
choice.
But
Certain
I
departments
know
can't do
that's my
that.
choice.
Certain departments.
And that's
can't
their
do that.
choice. They don't have to sit here at the table and eat their lunch like they do. I come in here, there's 5 or 6
I
people.
guess what I'm
sitting
saying,
at this table.
at the state, I think most places you're required, we're required to actually take a half-hour lunch, and for every X number of hours we work, we're supposed to have a 15-minute break.
That's how we are too.
That's
So,
what,
can I interject?
yeah.
So, Rick, the staff sit around and eat here because the Board of Selectmen said, you guys have to eat at noon away from your desks. That's a policy.
That doesn't mean they can't go outside, that doesn't mean they can't sit in their car, it doesn't mean they can't go to the
It
Pizza
doesn't.
Hut or the pizza shop.
It
I
doesn't.
see people doing it.
They do, but I've got feedback from staff, and they say, well, you know, I would just eat my lunch and go home after I work my 8 hours. Why can't I do that? I said,
you
well,
have
it's
to
a
take it after
policy.
5
But you have to pay them,
State law, you
they
have to
don't
take
eat their
it.
lunch.
State law, you have to take it after 5
Supposed
hours.
to take a half-hour break unless they're in an exempt position.
I don't want to disagree with both of you, but, no, the state does provide, and it's on the RSA that's on that.
They do, I read it.
Yep. So I reached out to...
Just because they provide it doesn't mean we have to agree with it.
No, we don't.
So what do you,
but-
so what you're saying is what the state says is you can work your 8-hour day and then take your lunch at the end of the day and just go home?
You can eat, yeah,
So your day would technically be a half-hour shorter?
yes.
So then if they all did that, we'd be closing the town up half an hour early every day.
Well, we close at 4 every day, so...
we'd be
So
closing at
after, right, so the
3:30.
state says.
No, we'd be closing at 4.
So the state
just like
says
we always
after
do.
5 consecutive hours of
How could you
working,
close it?
they're entitled to a half-hour break.
Keep reading it.
The 5 employees will have the option to eat while they're working if it's feasible for the position and is permitted by the supervisor, we're the supervisor. we
No,
don't-
that RSA allows this.
It allows it, but like I said, we don't have to approve it.
You
Just
don't,
because the
no.
RSA allows it.
Guys, this is something that would improve your staff morale.
What do
That's
you-
that's your
So what are you
opinion, Joe.
suggesting? Let me ask you, just what are you suggesting? All right, so,
So
for
ju-
instance, if we were to do what you're suggesting, and I'm not saying I'm voting this way, I just want to kind of hear this out completely, because I'm a little bit confused. If, right now, they're shutting down at noon, I don't want to segregate the town hall, but it seems like this is the biggest conversation has to do with those employees, so I guess we'll have to. So they shut down at noon. What time do we start?
We do not shut down at noon.
Well, whatever, they go to lunch at noon. What time do we start now?
8
Town hall
o'clock.
open?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So if we were to let them work through lunch or take lunch and pay them, so, in other words, instead of making them clock out, if they stayed punched in when they're eating lunch here, wherever they're eating it, regardless, how is that still 8 hours of closing at 4? I don't understand how that works.
Well, they would sit at their desk, and if they're eating, they would eat, but they would still be working.
All right, I understand, but 8 to 4 is 8 hours now,
Yes.
right?
We close at, they leave at 4:30.
Okay, so they'd be
So-
staying a half hour past we're closed.
No.
They
Currently,
currently stay a half hour past we close.
yes.
What particularly are they accomplishing in that half hour? I mean, is there certain things that, like, I know my work, when it's the last half hour of my shift, my duties are to clean up, throw the trash away, I mean, just little basic things, so then, obviously, we don't have a second shift here, but when the next shift comes, it's clean.
Yeah.
Just, for instance, is there something that is particularly done, or they just stay here for the half hour, basically, if we're closed, and they're not taking anybody that's coming in the door?
Yeah, they're just buttoning up things that may have happened close to the end.
Well, reality is sometimes if it's not busy, I mean, somebody's full-time, it's the flow of the work. You're not gonna be all out all day. You know what I'm trying to say? So, I mean,
So just to give you guys kind of a heads up on what other towns are doing, I blasted this out to the municipal association. 11 out of 12 responses said, yeah, we let our staff work through lunch. 11 out of 12, that we are
so basically
force,
what Joe's asking you to do.
to force staff to eat at a certain hour is,
Work day a half hour every day and let them eat through lunch. It's basically what he's asking us to do.
let them work through lunch,
My
and let
problem
them do
with
the
that
8
is-
hours and go
My
home.
problem with that is if we conform that to the town hall,
Then we're shorting our work.
then we're gonna have to do it for every department. We can't just offer it to the town hall and not offer it to every other department. So we wouldn't be able to do that, just another, for instance, at the transfer station, where they got set hours. So, but we can't just say, hey, okay, you guys can work through lunch, but you guys can't. Because then you're gonna have that, well, how come they can do it?
Well, I
And we
can pretty
can't.
much tell you, I don't know, but I'm sure that some departments that aren't as closely monitored are probably doing that now anyways.
They're getting docked a half an hour, so if they wanna work through their lunch, there's certain departments that are open a set time schedule. I mean, yeah, okay, they're still getting docked a half hour, so they can work through their lunch all they want.
I think what he's saying though, if they work through their lunch, they wanna have that half hour included in their day, right?
They
Right,
want
in
to work
other
their,
words, that would be part of their 8 hours. They'd leave it half hour early.
So if they're working 8 to 4:30 and they're not eating through lunch, they'd leave at 4.
yes.
But
So
if
that
we do
means we
that,
have to change
if
the
we do
hours.
that
We
for
have to
them,
change
3 hours for town hall.
No, we close the doors locked at 4 o'clock.
When did that start?
It's always been like that since I've been here. This doesn't change operation hours. This just lets staff do their 8 hours and go home.
just my concern is that worrying about other departments trying to be like, I'm not saying I'm voting that they can do this. I get what you're trying to say. It's not something that I haven't wanted to do at my own job, so I get it. But my concern would be other departments being like, hey, they can do it. Why can't I shorten up my day by half an hour and do it? That's my biggest concern. Because
And-
then you start getting, like you said, feeling left out as far like the complex thing. You get certain departments that say, hey, well, they can do it. Why can't we?
Which we all have, and I understand that, but we all have separate jobs. And it's
I'm not
just the
saying I don't
nature,
agree.
it's just the nature of the beast. But it really would, people have asked, why are we forced to eat lunch when we could just do our 8 hours and go? And it's like, well, it's a policy.
Yeah, and in the past, it was state law before this provision was put into it. Many years ago in this state, it was state law that you had to take lunch.
I understand, but
This is
things,
something new that came about.
Rick, I understand, but things change, and these folks want this. They really do. They want to do their 8 hours, and they don't want to just hang out for a half an hour and button things up. They want to go home. They're, in effect, what you're doing is you're docking town hall staff 2.5 hours.
Docking them nothing. We're not docking them
I'm
nothing.
just, you know.
This is getting worse
I
as we
don't
go
want- Can
on.
we, let's move on. Let's move on. This is, we're just gonna go around in circles on this.
All right, so I'm just going to pitch this. We're not doing this?
I guess so.
I just saw Mr. Hadley
Jim
show up.
Hadley's
Yeah.
here. You gonna call him now, or you gonna finish what you're doing? It's gonna be a while.
First off, do
Well,
we have
you know,
any,
there's
do we
more
have any
things.
non-public?
He's not,
Well, I didn't know if Judy was here for non-public.
She's
just
not.
just asking, not to be.
it's up to you.
It's up to you. You want him?
You're the
Jim, you wanna come to the table? We'll get you out of here, I guess. We went on because you weren't here.
Good evening. I talked to the town administrator, asked if I could have like 15 minutes of your time, so I appreciate it. And I wasn't able to come on July 25th when you met with Representative Stone regarding proposed legislation for the next session, so I sent a letter to the Selectmen, sent it to Representative Stone and Representative Dean Bailey, Northwood as well. So he ended up emailing me back regarding, one of the things I was looking into was establishing a property tax commission. New Hampshire, as you may know, has the third highest property tax rate in the country. And we have an elderly population, 610 people, 14%, which is about state average. We're about in the middle as far as our taxes. Second sheet I gave you, I compared like the 9 surrounding towns. So Northwood has really done pretty well from 2012 to 2012 as far as the full value tax rate. It's actually gone down 2%. Candier, Deerfield, and Stratford have gone down between 11 and 15%. So I think the Property Tax Commission, realizing the population of New Hampshire is becoming more elderly, I think they estimate in 2030, like 1/3 of the population in New Hampshire will be over 65. So this is an opportunity for the legislators to take a look at, how taxes are distributed in the state. Years ago, they looked at an Augenblick formula, and that would have sort of given more money to the lower communities and less to the higher communities. So hopefully something like that, they can come up with. So I'm not asking you to support that because I don't know what the actual legislation is going to look like, but I plan on contacting the area legislators and the Board of Selectmen. And I'll give you a sheet before I leave, and there's a dozen other legislators in the nine surrounding towns. And the other item I want to bring up is the town's other town property that has been accumulated over the years. It's now up to 2.5 million, and it goes back, 20, 30 years or whatever. It's in the town report. I provided a copy of it when Selectman Breyer and I and Mary Knox were on the board back in 2002 or whatever. Lucas Pond lots came up, and we ended up developing something so that they had a chance to purchase the lease, which helped them quite a bit. But if you look at the handout for the Lucas Pond properties, there's still a value of $670,000 on the lots down there, so there's still a lot of lots that can have the opportunity to buy out the lease at a reasonable price. And when it was done before, it has to go through town meeting, but it gave them a discount if they did it within 60 days or 120 days.
Well, they got they paid we discounted the lease we found out what the fair market value was, and they discounted that price by the lease.
Yeah, and the proceeds ended up paying for the recreational fields. So I think that's an opportunity to, set up like a 5-year plan or whatever. When I was on, the last time I was on the board in 2013, I think, and I have that handout, the last handout, and it was, I identified several lots that could have been put on the market for sale, and just those 5 lots alone, it was estimated, 500, town could take in 500,000. So the thing is that town should not be in the business of accumulating abandoned property and land. And as you know, what happens over years for abandoned property, and you've talked about it before, is it just becomes more, degraded and whatever. So I think that's an opportunity, working with the town assessor, to identify which ones of the either land or abandoned properties would be like the available. One of the former town administrators in Northwood went to Thornton, New Hampshire, and every once in a while you see the big ad. And I talked to her a couple weeks ago, and she's leaving there now, but they've really done a good job of bringing in revenue, and that's just more money that can go into the surplus. And then when you set the tax rate, you can decide how much you want to use to buy down the tax rate. It'll just give you more of a cushion to be able to do that. And you could do it over a several-year period. You don't have to liquidate all the properties at once. You can do it over a 5 or 7-year plan.
I understand that, but when I look at this list, I'll use Lucas Pond as an example. When you sell a lot that's 0.41 acres, that doesn't meet any zoning rule in town, so that becomes a headache. People buy that lot, and they want to build a home on it, they want to put a septic system, and they want to put a well on it. These lots, you'd have to buy 2 or 3 of them to make them come anywhere near being of legal size.
But I'm only
We
looking
have
at
the
the
same
buildings.
problem in,
I'm only looking at the buildings, those that have a long-term lease, and they're either summer or year-round camps, not land. Where it says land, but those are leases that are still owned by, the residents
yeah, they had a chance to buy them, and they chose not to buy them at that time.
at that time. But that was, 2002, that was, 15 years ago. So, property has transferred. It would have to go through town meeting, but I think it's worth the effort to find out whether the new house owners on Lucas Pond that are part of that lease would like to have the option of buying out the lease, like they did.
I don't think there's
I guess I'm-
10% down there that have changed hands over time. Most of these little camp lots are owned by people they've been owned by for 30 years. I'm very familiar with a lot of them, and I don't think there's 10 new houses down there.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about new houses, just giving the opportunity.
No, but I mean different people.
Yeah, but things may have
but
changed
I
in
think what he's
14
trying to
years.
say is that we tried in, 2012?
Yeah, and we did very well at it.
2017, now maybe some of those people have changed their mind.
Well, one of the reasons
But
this
I gotta
came up is we were actually approached by some owners because when they went to get a home improvement loan, they were having difficulties obtaining financing to fix their homes because it was in a lease, and they says, you don't actually own the land. And when this lease runs out, they will consider high-risk loans because
They didn't own the land.
I understand that, but there's also people who got lots there now. They want to buy bigger lots than what they've got, and we'd have to subdivide it off the existing school lot to let them have bigger lots to meet the amount of land that they need.
I can see.
I've had two people ask me recently, can I buy an acre behind my camp? I said, I don't think your chances are good. We're gonna have to subdivide it, we're gonna have to spend money. Why are you shaking your head no? Yeah, that's what I said, I don't think we can sell that land.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the houses that are there that are under the lease with the town.
I'm a little confused. So all of these that are listed that say land have houses on them now?
No.
Okay. Just the ones that say land building are the ones that have houses. That's what those are the ones that we're talking about possibly selling?
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly which ones have a building or not
All right,
until someone looks at it a little closer.
okay.
When we did it back in 2002 or 2003, we probably got 75% at that time that wanted to buy out the lease.
You can almost kind of figure out which ones have buildings because some are worth more than others. It kind of makes sense.
There is a lot of small lots left down there.
It looks like there's four right in a row.
We own
69,
some
70,
more that
71,
have camps on
72.
them that should be taken down, and we don't have the money to do it at this point.
69, 70, 71, 72, and 73. That's four
People
blocks.
giving them up for back taxes, and they're falling in, and we still own them.
2 1/4. Check that one.
So the other properties, the value is 2.5 million. So, again, I think the assessor can go through those and identify which ones are, the low-hanging fruit for the first year or first couple of years. I don't think the town should be in the real estate business, And the last item that I have is just there's been discussion about the town purchase or the purchase of the First Baptist Church building. So when I wrote a grant for the elderly housing on Bow Street, we worked with the Community Development Finance Authority. So in that handout that I gave you on the first page at the bottom, I talked to the contact that we had, George Hunton, to see if the town would qualify. And
he's still there?
Yeah. So I asked if the town would qualify, and they would, but it would have to be more of a senior center, because the low to moderate income would give them over 51%, would give them more points. Right now, Northwood, according to HUD, is only at 35% low to middle income. So, and because the library is a bona fide nonprofit organization, they would be in a much better place to go out and apply for the grants as a nonprofit. There's 20 largest foundations in New Hampshire, I think, give out like $100 million a year or whatever. And a lot of the information is free, how to write these 4-page grants, or as the town administrator knows and stuff. But, I don't think it's something that the town should, focus on. I think if the library wants to go forward with it, I think it would be an excellent thing for them to take as a project. And on that, if I could just go back to that spreadsheet, that was the second page here. On the right side of the spreadsheet, Northwood, 610 elderly, and you look at in the town report, the state does have a elderly exemption, and even though we have 610 elderly residents, only 56 elderly families. I'm looking at the town report, you wouldn't see that, but this here on the right side, it shows Northwood 610 elderly, 65 and over.
Yep.
So depending on their income, they would qualify, some of them, for an elderly exemption, which gives them a pretty good reduced tax rate. But maybe there's not a good education process around the state so that elderly citizens know about it, or they're too proud or whatever. But the population in Northwood is getting older, and I just think that the taxes are getting more difficult between heating, eating, prescriptions, etc. And we see that not just in Northwood, we see it all around the state. So, and then I left you a copy of the full value tax rate. So it looks like Candia, we're like in the middle. We're 130 out of 230, 116 out of 230 communities. So we're about in the middle, but Candia, Nottingham, and Stratford have been able to do pretty good the last few years, so that's it.
Just like to say, I don't have any problem selling lots that are sizable,
I thought we've
but
discussed
any
this.
lots that are undesizable, if they can't be joined to another lot,
Yeah, I wouldn't,
It's
I wouldn't
kinda-
focus on the lots, I would just focus on Lucas Pond, the leases.
right.
And then the 2.5 million other property, I would focus on that.
But there's at least 10 to 15 lots down there that
Yeah.
have nothing on them.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even, if it's a,
To move forward to sell them in today's world, you're asking for trouble.
behind the post office, the town has owned like 3 lots there for, 25 years. or
Yeah, I
whatever.
just saw that, like 8 acres or something like that. I
Yeah.
just saw that.
And that's on, on the list when I presented it to the
Even
selectmen.
on both sides of the roads, it looks like.
And also has a right-of-way going in there.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's an opportunity for revenue enhancements for the town and to stabilize the tax rate, even reduce the tax rate to build up the surplus so that you have that flexibility.
I agree, we shouldn't be in the real estate business.
Really? Yeah, I'm sure Donald Trump would be proud of the
He would-
town of Northwood,
I don't know.
all the real estate they've accumulated.
You joke, but we've almost been on the news just as much as he has lately.
I know, I try not to watch it.
We had the big-time news in town
I
today.
didn't say we have, I said, okay, the town of Northwood.
SAU 44.
Well, it says town of Northwood, so.
We had
we're
news
still
stations at
part of it.
Hannaford today asking people questions from out of town.
So the last thing,
When
did
you
you
make the
notice,
Boston news, there's something wrong.
the last thing I put on my cover sheet?
The bottom, yeah.
Very in bold print.
No, I missed it.
You missed it.
I saw the cover sheet, but it got
Thank you for your public service.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, back to the agenda.
Guess so.
Oh, no, we got decisions on red listed bridge?
Well, he wasn't done with what he was
Oh, I'm
doing.
sorry.
Oh, no, that was,
Stopped.
no, it's,
To take care of Jim.
nope, that's all I had for that.
What about the red listed bridge?
That
where
was
we
the
were
next thing.
That's where we're at next.
Okay.
So this is the other red listed bridge we have in town. DOT sent us the paperwork to start this process. They're asking, does the Board of Selectmen want to rehab that bridge, rehabilitate the bridge, or completely replace it?
My question on that is are we gonna, we have to go through the town to raise this money, correct? This is gonna go to the voters?
No, we have a red listed bridge fund already.
Okay.
And if we get the funding, well,
Do we have the money to go for a full-blown restoration? Because I mean, personally, that's what I'd like to see, but that doesn't mean we're gonna be able to financially afford
we
it.
have, how much do we have in there? It's 2 years now?
2 years now, so,
But then we got the thing where DOT said they're gonna fund this bridge down here, right?
yep.
Still costs us money.
It was like, what, 100-something dollars? I had the numbers.
That was to repair it.
I think we gotta bring that before the voters, because I think when they gave us the bridge, when we kinda sold it, that when the bridge was, repaired,
Rehabilitation.
that we were gonna return that money.
To me, I mean, that's not old, that's not
Both bridges.
crazy.
What?
Those are both red listed bridges.
Well, we set it up for red, but I
against
think we would need to,
Just, I mean,
let the town know that our intention is to take that money and, because when can we get the money for the, because my understanding was they were
2029 or
2029, right? 2025.
25. They want to know right now so they can budget for this. They asked that we have this in 6 months, and this was from May 26th, so we have to,
I say we.
we have to rehab
I
it
say we redo it.
completely or rehab it? I mean, I
wanna
think
spend
we're less more,
$187,000?
if we're gonna have to put it in the budget, you're gonna be able to squeeze $167,000 in the budget or $26,000?
No, we do what we did now. You tell the people that we need to replace the bridge.
understand
Can
that.
we rehab it? And if we what's the life expectancy on a rehab versus a rebuild?
I'd like to rebuild it too. My question is do we?
See, this is the information I need. What's the difference between a rehab and a rebuild? And
How much traffic?
how much life does a rehab do as opposed to a rebuild?
the expected life would be 50 years from,
For a rehab or rebuild?
for the rebuild and the rehab. Right now,
They're
the
both
Both
50 years?
50 years. Right now, the rehab, that bridge is in, and I'm not a structural engineer, but It's in better shape than our worst bridge.
I guess I'm kind of confused. I would think that a newer bridge would last longer than a rehab bridge, but that's my thing.
Yeah, I'm not a structural engineer.
Neither am I.
So,
I'm not.
but, right now there's, I looked at it.
And how many people drive over this bridge too? It's Old Canterbury Road.
Yep.
Over Narrows Brook, that's the one that's on, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the cutoff road that kind of cuts
Yep.
toward, like, instead of
It's a
going
little
around
hoop.
that sharp corner, you can cut that road off right there, is that the bridge we're talking about?
Yes.
Are you cutting off that really
Oh,
sharp
over on
corner
Old
on
Canterbury
Narrows?
Old
That's not the
Canterbury,
bridge?
no.
No, Old Canterbury Road?
Is that where does
That
that,
is-
doesn't that turn into a class 6?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, where the old fishing place used to be, right? The fishing tack.
Does it come
that's
out,
not Old
like, if
Canterbury Road?
that bridge was going, how would the people get in and out of there? Would they go out?
I think there's a
Oh,
side
for some
road that
reason, I
cuts
always
off
think
the
that's Old Canterbury Road.
So what are we doing?
So it would take 2 years to get the match for this. Right now, there's 168,000. We've been working on it for 2 years. It would take 2 more years to get the match for this grant to completely replace the bridge.
How much would rehab cost?
26,000.
26,000.
126?
26.
Look, here's a list
Sorry.
right here.
Oh.
You got that one?
I got it, he's good.
But don't we have to front that money and then we get it back?
Yeah. We'd have to appropriate it.
Yeah, they pay 80%, we pay 20%.
No, but we'd have to front this money until the date if we did.
I mean, if they're
No.
telling us we can do a rehab and get the same amount of life out of it, I say we do the rehab.
It's,
I don't, yeah, I think so too, if the road's, it's
I
not,
mean, if
that road's not heavily traveled, correct? Is it heavily traveled? Yeah, it's not heavily traveled, so I mean, so what are you getting for your bang for your buck? You're getting the same amount of years.
yeah.
And you're saying, you're
what are
basically,
your thoughts on it? Did
you're
you-
saying that it's not as bad as our worst one, so maybe we take that money and put it towards one of the worst ones that are worse than this one.
If you look at the number here, replacement is $668,000.
Total, that's what the
Right,
state
if
would
the
pay.
state does it, and we would pay 167 for a total of $835,000.
It's a big difference for the same amount of life expectancy. It's kind of like it's a huge difference.
So my thoughts are, instead of kicking the can down the road and just kind of patching stuff up, let's fix stuff. Kicking things down the road, I know the town has done that in the past, and I don't think that should be a good
Yeah,
policy.
I
I think it should be, let's fix it.
I don't disagree with you, but there might be something that's more important to fix completely. I guess I wouldn't consider this kicking the can if they're gonna give us 50 years out of it. I mean, there might be something that maybe our money was best spent somewhere else in a more important way. Not saying that this isn't important, but they're telling us that we can get 50 years either way. I don't know.
I'm confused.
Yeah, it blows my mind. It's like going to buy a new car and they tell you, hey, we'll give you 5 years guaranteed on this one and 5 years guaranteed on that one, but this one's been rehabbed. It kind of doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
A rehab's gonna last 50
The
years.
same distance, same amount as a new one.
Well,
It's kind of,
They said the bridge over here on Sherburne Brook was a 50-year lifespan, and that thing's at, what, 97 years now or something? So, I mean, and these are just projected spans. It could last 25 years, or it could last,
Could last 1 year if we get a flood.
Yeah, you know how it happens. So, but,
Could be down the river. So what do you wanna
Oh,
do?
if a
I'm okay with
municipality
rehab.
constructs the project prior to the program, man.
You have to come up with the money if you do it prior.
I don't think we're gonna be able to come up with
Oh, so
we wouldn't do it prior, though. We would wait till 20.
So we wouldn't start doing it till 2025.
No, but they're asking,
You
Guys,
have to
there-
get in the plan ahead of time
yeah,
to get
that's.
the money on that
we're-
time.
Just like we did in 2015 to kind of get ahead of the curve, so we're going to build in a couple years. This is the same thing. We're getting in the queue now so we can build later.
But we still won't get our money back till 2025.
No, you
No,
can't build it.
you're not gonna-
You can't
Can't
build
build
it
it
till
before then
2025.
anymore.
If you build it before 2025,
You
then
own
you own it.
Okay.
The law just changed.
It did change.
And is these estimates of what they think the cost will be in 2025? Or is that the cost today?
That's the, Honestly, I don't know.
My guess is that's the price today.
So
Well, I
that's
mean,
the price.
the state gives me this number.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is that the estimated cost they think it's gonna be in
I
2025?
would hope it was.
I would assume it is, but I
Can you
can't tell
find
you yes.
out?
Yes, I can.
Is that a good question? I think it's a good question.
I think it's a real good question.
Is these numbers adjusted for inflation?
I,
I don't
Because
know.
what'll happen is 2025, that'll be 1.2 million, and that'll be,
If we were to decide this now, what would stop a future board from changing it in 2020?
it couldn't, you can only do,
They can only do what we implemented?
no, future boards can change things.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So like, if we decide to rehab it now, obviously in 2025, they could decide to full build it and take the rest of the cost if they wanted to.
Or they could do vice versa.
I'd like to,
I'm not trying to be difficult.
I tell you, I'd like to replace it. I can't believe that a brand new rehab's just as good as a brand new bridge. I gotta think the brand new bridge is gonna be better.
There's a lot of
I don't
difference in money.
disagree, it's,
800 and some thousand versus a,
what do you think, you know?
Yeah, take that 167 and divide it by 50 years. It's not that bad.
the 167's over, you can raise that in 2 years
Yeah,
with a warrant
that's
article if
not-
you ask the town.
That's not insignificant,
We have that much right now.
doesn't make any difference to me. I won't be here then anyway, so I'm not
You
gonna
won't be
argue
here-
about it.
Wait, you're not gonna be here, you're not gonna be here in 2025?
No,
Oh, you're moving down south?
I'll be in the tin can.
It means in 50 years when
Well, I meant 2025 you'll be here.
I'm not gonna argue about it. Whatever
I mean,
your wish is, I'll
It's
honor it.
ultimately still up to the voters either way, it's still
Yeah.
gotta go on the warrant.
I'd like to do replacement.
I think we're being foolish.
Okay,
We just need to make a decision and move on.
yeah.
I'll abide by anything you guys wanna do.
Okay, I would need a vote and then I would.
I'll make a
need-
motion, option 2. Conditional that these are inflated, the numbers they estimate the cost will be in 2025. That's the first question I need, is these today's numbers, or are these the assumed amounts that they estimate it's gonna be in 2025? I think
that would be
they're probably
doubtful.
today's. Well, it's kind of funny, make a decision, we'll use today's dollars,
Because that's gonna go up at
but,
least
but.
20%
but-
by 2025.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, assuming a 2% inflation rate every year,
It's 7 years away, so. about
7 years
20%.
away.
About 20%.
I forgot your math, man.
I thought you were the math.
I didn't even really have to figure it out, it's just, normally everything's 20% after 10 years.
So where are we going?
I'll second the motion.
So we go with option 2, replacement, second, and he seconded it. So any more discussion?
Now, do we have to amend that based on town vote, or, because if the town don't vote it in, then we ain't get the money.
Well, you don't have to come up with the 167 until 2025. You could like spread it out over multiple years.
I'm not saying they're gonna say no, I'm just saying we should probably
You
get
have
that
to
in
ask.
motion.
This is just to apply for it. This isn't saying that you're committing funds.
Yeah,
to
you're
it.
just
Yeah,
applying for it.
This is just to
This is
say,
just
this
so
is
that
what we're
we-
expecting.
it's budget.
Trying to
Yep.
dot the i's, cross T's, so we don't get caught later on.
Any more discussion?
No.
Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
The fact that it says preliminary estimate right up top tells me that it's not 2025's numbers.
Yeah,
Well,
those aren't gonna be hard numbers.
preliminary, that's a little out to say, this is what we think it's
That's a
gonna be,
little
but
out
we
to
can't
say when they hand
guarantee.
you the bill that says, no, this is the real amount.
All right,
Moving on to accepting of the minutes.
yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 25th of 2017.
I got some questions on some of them. Just give me a second. I got too many piles of papers here.
I'll second the motion for discussion. I'm okay with these ones.
These ones are almost like a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long
So,
one. That was at 10 o'clock, I think 11 o'clock night.
So, discussion on when was it? Which one did you do first?
5-0.
July 25th?
Actually, gentlemen, I have an edit. On the last page, it says, Breyer motion to adjourn, Selectman Hodgson second, motion carries 5-0.
Awesome, there's 5 of us now?
Yeah, apparently so. So that should be a 3.
It says 3-0 on mine, so you got it right on mine.
Oh, does it say 3 on yours?
Yeah.
That's what it says on mine, too.
Oh, I got a 3.
3-0.
Or I got a
Mine's
5.
got 5.
Well, you don't count.
Must have been printed at different times.
Yeah, that's weird.
Go to the last page, page 14.
The last
That's
page.
what
Are you
it just
looking at
was.
the,
Page 21, which one are you looking at? The 20?
you're looking at the wrong, I'm looking at this one.
We're looking at July 25th.
Oh,
We're
I'm
talking
sorry.
Oh,
about
I'm looking at the wrong one, I'm
I'm looking
sorry.
at the wrong one too.
I'm not looking at the wrong one. We were talking about
No,
July
I'm
25th.
sorry, I was
I
looking
guess
at
we
the wrong
moved on and we didn't.
We're all set.
Yeah,
Joey's,
I'm looking at the right one.
yeah, no, you're good.
So that's the only correction, is that it? So we all set?
here we are, it's right. Yeah, so we can vote on it.
All right. All in favor?
Right.
As far as the other one, I see.
So
Three to
then,
zero.
August 8th, yeah, I have an editorial thing, on the last page, it should be, 3-0 on page 14, instead of 5-0, line 33.
Good catch.
Thanks.
I gotta be honest with you, I haven't really read this one.
It's what, the first?
Do you wanna wait?
If you guys have read it and you're okay with it, it only takes 2. If you wanna wait, I'm okay with that too. I just telling you, I honestly haven't read it. I mean, they're minutes. They should be
Yeah, if
good.
you honestly haven't read it, I wanna give you an opportunity to read it.
Oh, I'm so happy.
So, I guess we'll table these, I'll make a motion to table these till our next meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We're moving on. To assess various assessment forms.
Man, we waste a lot of paper.
Yeah, a lot of paper.
Unbelievable.
I'll make a motion to, grant a, veterans credit, tax map 231, lot 22, it's 107 Grange Street. It's being recommended by the assessor.
Second.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes 3-0.
Just have the, little signy thing on it.
Looks like you passed it, it's in your hand. Is that it right there?
There's no sticky on it, must have fallen off.
There it is. Okay, the next one,
It's the same one, isn't it? Rooster.
oh no, this is, no, it's a different map. No, it's not.
No, it's not. That's the same one, I'm telling you. I don't know why we got 2, but it seems to be the same to me.
Oh, this was good.
Maybe one was good and one wasn't, I don't
Yeah,
know.
one was not good.
Maybe there was
This
a
one is
mistake.
for Tracy Moore, is the one you're working on, this one.
Yeah, but he's got the,
That
yeah,
one's got a different name on
he's
it.
got the, if you look at the front cover page,
They both got the
they
same
both
covers
have
on
the
them.
same,
Yeah, they updated it and they gave me, this one you're gonna be dealing with Tracy Moore. You've already approved this one.
all right. Yeah, I know that, it's like, why don't they just put it on one instead of two?
I don't.
Okay. So recommendation, I make a motion to deny, sorry, that's the one I signed.
We gotta sign that one, right?
I'll make a motion to, deny tax map 108 lot 78, that's 18 Wood Terrace.
Wait, did we ever vote on the first one?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to deny, tax map 108, lot 78. It's a veterans credit denial.
I'll second for discussion. Does the assessor state reason for denial?
It states that the applicant has not produced documentation for the award of a veterans credit. Nature service is listed as uncharacterized. State regulations require nature service must be listed as honorable.
So we're gonna make a motion to deny that?
He did.
Did,
I
all
just
right,
seconded for
second it.
discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 3-0.
Oh, okay, and before we sign this, okay, so that one's deny, but there's a second one for map 108 lots 78, the disability exemption, which is recommendation, I'll make a motion to grant that one.
Second,
Second. That's fine.
any discussion?
Yeah, it's a different exemption, this one's a disability exemption, that one, that meets the
The
qualifications.
question is why is it two different lot numbers if it's the same
It,
person?
it's actually not, it's tax map 108, lot 78, and this one,
So it's not the same person
It is the same person, she's just applied for two different,
for two different lots?
yeah.
No,
No,
so-
same lot, two different exemptions.
Oh, I thought you said two different numbers. My bad. I misheard you. I'm sorry.
I might have said it wrong.
I thought I might have misheard you.
Okay, so we're gonna grant this one.
All right. So we voted, I think.
Passes 3-0.
I did not get a vote on disability.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0.
Thank you, guys.
I think we need like those paddles like bingo when we vote.
Yes.
Let's see, 22nd?
22nd.
No, not bingo, auction. That's what it was. That's the one I'm talking about.
Green side out for yes, red side out for no.
Yeah.
August 22nd.
All right, I'll admit, I'm a little, so we got,
Some of these exemptions get confusing.
oh, okay, so this one, I'm checking the box.
I mean, he did highlight it for you.
Why don't they just check them for us?
The bright yellows. the other way.
Because we might disagree with them. We can still, all right, and then this last one, I'll make a motion to approve a cemetery deed for Gary Hodgson and Terry Hodgson and a cemetery perpetual care contract.
Second.
What? Yeah,
Cemetery deed. Cemetery alert,
In perpetual care, there should
perpetual
be.
care. Pine Grove Cemetery. 4 graves.
Thought we only sold lots to residents in Northwood.
Yeah, Gary was
They live
born,
in Nottingham.
If
Gary
they
was
have,
born and raised in Northwood.
if they have family that are buried here, or they have family in town, they'll sell to, or if they have family that owns lots, they'll sell, so that way they can keep family next to family.
Well, we're in discussion anyway.
Well, anyways, I'll make a motion to approve it.
I second it for
Okay,
discussion.
so
We're
discussion. Any more discussion?
Had the discussion before.
That he has family, and that's what the rule has been. It really hasn't changed.
So every family member that has a family member in this town has the right to buy a grave lot.
If, say, my mom is buried here and I live in Florida, I could come up
Do
and
they
buy a
have
lot
family
next to
members
her.
buried in the cemetery then?
From my understanding is, yes, they do have family.
Rick, for the record, you don't have to approve, I mean, technically.
No, I know we've had problems with cemetery lots. We had people from Stratford trying to buy them because our lots are cheaper than theirs are. And if we sell these lots to all outsiders, eventually, we're not gonna have any lots left for people in town. That's been my question with it, and I've been upfront with it before. That's why I question it. Sign it. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, we gotta call vote.
It's all right.
You got a...
Did you second it?
Yeah.
I did.
Call for the vote.
I'm voting aye.
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 After, now that we're done voting on that, we need to set some sort of parameters. I mean, I don't know, if I'd want to be buried next to my family if I lived in a different town.
I will tell you a story
But
though.
Go ahead, tell us a story.
No, I won't. I'll tell you
Sign
some
the
other time.
stories. Yeah.
That's it.
I won't go there.
No, that's it.
You won't go
What's
there?
this? We got signed here.
No, you don't need to sign that. That's my support document.
Assessing. All right, manifest.
You signed twice, so you can sign it.
Awesome, that means I don't have to sign?
I will make a motion to approve the town of Northwood 2017 number 18 check register in the amount of $443,854.57.
Second.
And for the record, 400,000 is going to the school.
Any more? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All
Aye.
in favor? Aye. Passes 3-0. I already signed it. I looked at it today for an hour.
Any purchase orders?
Yes. Here we go. Town records are being bound. This is Judy's purchase order for that.
Do you have the order there?
The PO? Yeah, I wrote one out.
This was on the town warrant,
Yeah.
the one line item for that amount. And so when the item was approved, I called them and said, okay, come pick up the book and have it done. Well, I didn't get the requisition in at that time. Nothing has changed. I've done this in the past the same way.
I just ask in the future,
I know.
could we get the purchase order before we do the purchase? You say it almost every meeting.
No, you certainly do not.
I will if I have to.
That's fair, but that's why Judy's here, is because this was a...
You never heard me talk about have the purchase order in.
I didn't say that. I said you don't say it every
Oh,
meeting.
no, okay, all right. Would you say 75%?
No, I wouldn't.
I would say that you only need to say it once. And it should happen that way.
I know, but he said it
But
before.
it never does.
I'm not saying that it should,
true. You said
I'm
that.
just
That's
saying
not true.
that it should only take us once to say something and it should happen, not
Yeah, I know.
5 times.
We all make mistakes.
Just leave it there.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so I'll make a,
I've made a couple times.
I'm not
I'll
segregating
make
any
a, I'll
department.
make a motion to approve, the purchase that's already been made, to approve a purchase order for $6,135.
I'll second.
Which I'll also tell you that it was the same price as they gave us on the 2016 one that we did. And this one was originally quoted at $67.55,
Awesome.
and they did it for $61.35.
Any more discussion?
No, I didn't want to segregate any, it's just if we say something.
Seeing
it
none,
should
all in
happen.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you. But
Aye.
While I
Passes
have,
3-0.
while I have the floor,
Yep.
could I also tell you something that I got in the mail today, or an email today, and I'm sure Scott knows about it? Back in February, the Department of Motor Vehicles was supposed to install the new Vision program.
Oh, yeah, I might know a little
And,
bit about
and
it.
we were closed, and we were closed one day because motor vehicle was in essence
down,
closed.
yeah.
Yep.
And then
They're gonna
Friday
try and- they're
afternoon,
gonna do it on
Friday
Columbus
afternoon
Day.
at about 3:45, they said, oops, no, we're not going to close. So I stayed open on Tuesday instead. Well, now, it's coming back up again, they're going to do it now over Columbus Day. So the same thing is going to happen, I'm gonna have to close on Tuesday after Columbus Day. So I'm just giving a warning or a notice or whatever. And I'll be putting an ad in the paper and on the board and on whatever.
Okay.
And putting it on the website and whatever. Because nobody can do anything if motor vehicle's not open,
That's right.
all right?
Thank you.
gentlemen.
They're the mainframe.
Oh, they're open, they're just not doing any registers.
They gotta get ready for all those new stickers they're doing.
Oh, those are
That's
coming
right.
out too, yeah.
Yeah,
new
that's
style
right,
of
too.
stickers, you should
start-
see the new driver's license. Insane, it looks like something from Hawaii.
Yeah.
They all look alike though now.
Yeah, there's supposed to be fraud prevention.
I'll bring in my girlfriend's the next time I see it, she just got a new one. It doesn't look like, it looks like it could be copied pretty easily.
Okay.
Moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a purchase order for Lamprey Regional Demo Disposal, $12,000, so moved.
Second for discussion, is this coming on, is this part of the budget? Or is this something that we've overspent the budget, now we need a new purchase order?
This budget, the demo is overspent. Our tonnage is up. We're at 99 tons just in demo this year. The department itself is looking good. We're at 50,000 out of 91,000 encumbered. But demo itself, yeah, we had a lot of tonnage this year.
I'd like, not obviously you have to pay it, but I'd like to start something where we need to have some sort of like notification. If we're gonna use the demo or the furniture to put our trash in, we need to make some sort of record of that. So when it comes to budget time, we don't get
We could bring it up and say that the bins were filled and.
Well, it's not even just that. I mean, we've discussed this. I'm going back to when a certain committee came and wanted to raise prices. I mean, I have a hard time raising prices on furniture if we're going to use the argument that our fees went up when the fees are getting charged with it because it's full of trash. You know, I've gone in there probably pretty much every weekend this month on a Sunday or a Monday afternoon, and it's full of both furniture and demo are full of trash. Several times.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, I see your point. I think it's increase in the summer though, right?
Yeah, it happens all the time. I'm not saying there's anything we can do to avoid it. I guess my point is we had the argument last year when it come to budget season about raising the fees of disposal because of this.
I know.
All right, call vote.
No, I didn't.
No, you're in a hurry.
I have a question.
I'm not in a hurry.
Must be thirsty.
So we didn't even make a motion, right?
Yeah, I made a
You
motion.
motion seconded. All right, we opened it for discussion. I only got some discussion. Are we having a problem getting the cans dumped? Is that why we keep putting garbage into the
No, just
furniture?
a weekend thing.
Why don't we have?
What do you mean just a weekend?
It happens all the time in the summer. What happens is you go through, and just in my experience, you go through this influx. Now, for instance, I'll use the guy earlier. He comes in with all that stuff. Say it's the beginning of Saturday and the dumpster's empty. You think, okay, let's just throw it in here. We'll be okay. And then all of a sudden you get an influx of people that have graduation parties, vacationers coming up, the summer rentals. We'll have it again Labor Day. Labor Day weekend will be another one.
It is.
Columbus Day will be another one. And then one of the last weekends is usually they're here is Columbus Day weekend. And then it will stop.
So can I take this back? We brought this discussion up. This is a good example. Like, so he comes in, and all of a sudden, we have no room for our trash because he threw it in the trash.
I'm not saying, I don't disagree with that. There's got to be some sort of.
I'm just saying, this is a good example of like.
Oh, I agree.
He brings it all in at once, and then there's that one-time thing is throwing us into a thing where we have to throw it in the demo.
Well, that was the whole point I made earlier about calling ahead as far as the cardboard guy. I mean, there's certain things you can make, but you're right. We shouldn't hold the dumpster for that much trash. I'm not disagreeing with you.
If the guy at the puzzle place is bringing in an abundance of cardboard,
I'm not.
he should have a dumpster at his business.
I'm not
as well as
segregating the
every other
cardboard guy. I was
business
just using
in
that as an
town.
example.
No, but I'm just saying, the businesses are supposed to have dumpsters. That was done long ago in this town.
I agree.
Johnson's has them, the restaurants has them, the hardware store has them. If you're a business, you're not supposed to put your trash in the dumpsters at the dump. That was settled many years ago before my time and your time.
I
And it's
agree.
been that way. And if we start breaking it to let this one do it, and that one do it, and that one do it,
So
we're gonna keep breaking the
Are we gonna
rules.
stop? Are we gonna stop all the construction people that come in with construction debris? That most of it's not derived from Northwood. Getting rid
Well,
of
if
that
it
dumpster.
doesn't come from Northwood, it shouldn't be dumped
We're
here.
supposed to.
It shouldn't be
The
dumped
thing
there.
is along the same lines as you said earlier, you can come in with a boat cover, throw it in a bag, and nobody knows. I can come in with a truckload of shingles, tell you it's from my house. How are you gonna have a clue where it came from? You're gonna go
But
to the
you're
house.
paying for it.
Well, I got
Yeah,
used
you're gonna pay for it regardless if it came from Northwood or Stratford. You're still paying for it.
For the record, when I had my roof replaced,
Uh-huh.
I had a dumpster out front, and they.
So did I.
what I'm saying is I paid to have it removed.
I understand that. You come in, all right, so for instance, I'm a contractor. I come in, your house is in Stratford.
Yeah.
You're telling me, okay, so if I go to the dump and I be honest and I say this came from Stratford, you're gonna say, okay, you can't get rid of it here, you need a dumpster.
That's what
If I come in, okay, so let me rephrase that. I come in with the same load of shingles, tell them, oh, I did this in Northwood. You're gonna pay to get rid of it. You're gonna pay to get rid of it regardless if it came from Stratford, regardless if it came from Northwood, regardless if it came from Massachusetts. I can tell you it came from anywhere.
But are they paying to get rid of it?
Yes.
So who cares?
That's the whole point. We're just discussing this as far as the
But that guy don't wanna pay for it. He wants to dump it off for free.
He wants to dump it for free,
That's what I'm
that's the
getting.
difference.
He didn't say he wanted to dump it for free.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He asked for a
That's what an
waiver.
exemption for agriculture means. I don't pay.
He doesn't want to pay.
I mean, technically, it's on how you look at it,
He said an exemption. Exemption means you don't pay.
and I understand that. I know what it means.
So-
I was there one day
so-
when he came in with a load. He either had a dump
I know
trailer
what it is. It's a big
or a
load.
little dump truck, and he had a
seen
big
it.
load.
I know. I've seen it 100 times. I know exactly the guy that what he was talking about. I know 100%.
No,
what he's
I'm not. I mean, I think that if you're not dumping regular trash,
We need to rewrite our whole policies on.
no, we don't, because the policy was if you're a business,
Do you have a pamphlet so I can read them the policy, what it states?
Not on me, but I can get one if you want.
The policy states if the trash is derived from Northwood as a business, you can get rid of it there. That's exactly what it states.
It needs to be changed if that's what it states.
Does it say
because-
as a business or in Northwood?
It says
I
a
think
business owner is allowed to bring trash as long as the trash is derived from
I
Northwood.
thought it was household trash.
No,
We'll look it up.
Then maybe we need to fix that policy.
I'm just saying. I mean,
We need to look at it.
Yeah.
There seems to be some confusion over
Obviously, there's some confusion.
what our policy is.
Okay.
And arguing over it isn't gonna do us any
it
good.
could be like every.
But
it could be
maybe
like-
when you were down there, you just did whatever you wanted.
Maybe when I was down there, it also ran 100% better too. If you want to go there.
Here we go.
I was just kidding
Enough,
around.
enough,
Just
enough.
saying, if you want to
We're
go to
mo-
that
we're moving on.
extent, we can.
We're moving on.
I need a vote on the lamprey.
Obviously, the people liked it. I'm sitting here.
Uh-oh, we're really
Yeah,
getting
we're
there.
really getting off.
Okay, we need to vote on it. Call for the vote.
Need to vote.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
moving on.
Another PO, Gary wants to buy some equipment for his audio-visual setup he has here. He's provided 3 quotes.
And it comes out of the cable vision.
This will come out of the cable fund,
Expendable trust.
expendable trust. He's recommending that quote right there. These are the other 2 quotes. I didn't fill out a PO for it yet. Did you have it filled out, PO?
No, I didn't fill it out, because I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Well,
I have one, though. I filled out, because I didn't know exactly what was going on, so.
So what's this equipment gonna do for,
Yeah.
I gave you something to read, but I'll read it to you and explain it to you.
you need to make a motion before.
yeah, I mean, we not. Okay, I'll make a motion for discussions to, well, we actually don't have a PO to approve, so,
Well, he's gonna take care of it.
Yeah,
got it
he's-
there.
all right. Go ahead.
Second, go ahead, for discussion.
Oh, wait, this is the one you wanna buy, let's just make it easy.
Yeah, but,
I'll make a motion to purchase this equipment from B&H Photo Video Pro Audio, in the amount of $6,947.80. He did, okay, second, and he did provide 3 bids, so,
Is that
not
the
on,
cheapest
not
one?
on everything, only because, as I wrote down here,
what do you mean not on everything? What do you mean not on everything?
well, because the computer right over there is 6 years old, and I've been having problems. I already had Staples look at it previously and fix it. So it's starting to show some more. It's shutting down inadvertently for no reason at all. And that's not good if I'm trying to keep up with the editing and stuff, and producing the DVDs. So I looked around at several different places, quite a few, for what they call a, let's see here, it's a turnkey video production editing and editing computer, which is customized with specialized components and software configured for optimal video and audio processing. B&H Audio computer engineers build these units using the HP base. And they install a bunch of different boards that are specific to doing video production.
Gary, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Before we get really into this. So, you want to go with this quote,
Yes,
okay? But I have two quotes that you said you got three quotes that are substantially cheaper.
but they don't include the computer.
Well, then
'cause
that's not a real quote. You didn't give me a real quote. You should have, you're buying more stuff with this one?
Yes,
So what you should have is three quotes and have it all quoted out.
you will not find a customized
Then you should
turnkey
Then
computer.
you should break that purchase order out. In my opinion, you should break that purchase order out and just buy what you can here, and then you have to come in and put another purchase order and explain to me why you have to go sole source.
Oh, however you want me to do it, I just tried to explain everything here
'Cause it's-
as to how I went through it and spent a lot of time
This
doing
is-
it.
I know you might have spent a lot of time on doing it, but this
that's
makes
all right.
you're saying, here's three quotes, but this quote's got way more stuff in it.
No, it hasn't got way more stuff. It's
Well,
got
what-
one
what I
computer
get- what-
and some DVDs.
Yeah, how much is the computer?
The computer is, let's see, it's $3,570.
So if I was to just, why can't you buy the computer from another company?
Because it is a custom-made computer that nobody makes. You're talking apples and oranges, okay? And people that I'm not comfortable, like I said here, ordering from some of these other places that I have no idea what their reputation is. B&H, I've been buying for over 10 years, all of their equipment. I
So
know them,
Dell doesn't do video, audio.
What's that?
Dell doesn't do video, audio equipment, computers?
Dell doesn't? No, they don't do specific ones. What you do, like the HP, these are HP computers that they take and they put different video processing boards, they put different software in it, because this is a specific use computer. You don't use it for anything but this specific use. And it's got to have certain inputs, certain
I'd like-
outputs,
if this-
capabilities.
In my opinion, so what you're saying is you need to go sole source on this.
I'm
because
sorry, you need to,
It's called sole source purchase. You pick one vendor over other vendors because of a specialty reason.
yeah.
So what you should do is you should break the computer out separately and then go with the low bid for everything else. You know what I'm trying to say?
I understand.
You get it?
Well, I mean, I understand where you're going with this, but I would probably still be ordering everything from B&H.
Well, wonder if this is cheaper.
They don't make these.
Let's bring him back next.
We'll go.
We'll do
Can
it.
you figure this out?
I got it.
Okay.
Like pulling teeth.
Confused, too.
So we got a motion on the floor. I'm just gonna vote no.
Let's just remove the motion. It's not gonna vote no, we can discuss it later.
Okay.
Can I have those quotes?
So we're voting no until next time.
That's what it sounds like.
All right, what do we got now?
We're still plowing through purchase orders. I need a motion from the board for the second payment to the Northwood Lake Watershed Association.
So moved.
Any discussion? And no second. Oh,
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 3-0.
Gentlemen. This is a PO to update.
Well, don't we have to sign the PO?
There's a open PO. Last time you guys approved the 12,000. This
Okay.
is just to approve the second payment. That's updating the laptop, the AV laptop with some memory.
Okay, so my question on this one, is this coming out of a trust fund?
Yes,
It is coming out of a
that will
trust.
come out of trust fund. That's AV use.
Okay.
Whose laptop is it?
It's the town's laptop. Gary's using it for his recordings.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Mainstay Technology expenditure of $183.51.
Second.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0.
And this is for bricks and sticks for the pavilion.
Bricks and sticks.
You approved the contract. This is to expend the funds.
I'll make a motion to grant funds to purchase the ball field pavilion and install in the amount of $20,000.
Second.
Discussion. Why are we doing it right now? It hasn't even been built yet.
This is just so that way you guys have approved the contract, and our policy says that when
You
the
gotta approve the
contract is
purchase
approved,
order
you
before
approve the
you build
purchase
it.
order.
Yeah, we just had this conversation about buying stuff before we approved the purchase order.
Right. I don't like signing purchase orders before something's built.
We can't have both.
Well, you can't build something if you don't have approval to buy it.
You guys are
We
killing
gave
me.
him approval, but
But all we're doing is sign a
I know what we're
purchase
doing.
order to allow them to move forward with the project.
that isn't for money then.
Well, once we approve the purchase order, it allows them to expend the money
Rick, we're not gonna pay them until they construct the building.
until it's completed.
But the policy says when we sign a contract, the PO should be signed at the same time. We went around and got the contract, we had to make some adjustments, and now we're going with the.
So this
with
is
the
to
money.
give him the we're signing this to give him the authorization to move forward with the project.
We seconded it, right? Move the question.
Go ahead.
Well, you gotta call for a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, I guess so.
All right, go through that now.
Okay, that's all the POs I have for you.
Okay. Got any miscellaneous approvals?
Appropriate money for something that hasn't been done.
Where, we gotta pay, I think this is just to go forward, where they're not paying them today.
No, we already signed the pay.
Well, you know, can I give you a suggestion? And we can revisit
We've
this?
talked about this before, about signing POs and appropriating money for something that hasn't been done.
I'd like to make a motion, this will make you happy. I would like to make a motion that we do a 10% holdback until until the project's been reviewed and completed to our satisfaction.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
No.
All in
Maybe we
favor?
should start doing, before we go to, maybe we should start doing this on a lot of our our larger purchase orders.
Aye.
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 You might want to put a note on that purchase order that we're gonna do a 10% holdback until we approve the project,
Yeah, then it'll be on the document.
which is probably not in the contract.
It's not. That's all right. Wintertime's coming, and we've reached out to our plow drivers, Damaris Enterprises and Reeves Trucking. They would like to come back for year 2. There's a 3-year contract if the town re-ups them. This is those two companies. We've reached out to Daco, Dave Daco's company, and he has not responded with if he was going to fulfill the whole contract or not. He's missing drivers.
I'll make a motion to approve signing an agreement with Reeves Trucking and Damaris Enterprises.
I'll
Is there-
second.
Is there amounts in this?
Yeah, it's,
Do we set the rate? Or
We-
did they?
We did
Are
last
any
year.
changes in the rates, or?
Yeah.
same rates as last year.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to approve them again for this year.
I'll second for discussion.
Discussion.
so we don't get ourselves in a bind, we need to set a timeline on when we're gonna hear from Daco. If we don't hear from him by a certain date, we need to put that section of plowing back out to bid, because I don't wanna be in a predicament of what we're in now, dealing with the whole
School
busing
buses.
situation. I wanna try to get ahead of the situation.
But
We don't want to be left to the last minute and then have him
He's
say,
saying
no,
if
I'm
we
not
don't
gonna
hear by
plow.
Daco by a certain point in
Oh,
time.
We
yeah,
need to put
that's-
it back out to bid.
oh, yeah, that's
We
why we're
need to-
doing
We
this.
need to make a date for that time and
Yeah.
set it in stone. Tell him, either you reply by this time, if you don't, we're putting it back out.
I mean, you want to do it by the end of this month?
I think that's a little quick. How about like the middle of next month? Like the 15th of September?
Like the end of September.
Yeah, at the end of September.
I'm fine with
End of
that.
September?
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
that gives them, I mean, that still
Gives
gives us
them-
time to
gives them,
put it back
a
out to bid.
month.
That gives us time to put it back out to bid too. I think it's a reasonable request.
sure. He did say he has 2 trucks. We're just waiting to see if he's going to do his 3rd truck, is what we were waiting on.
I mean, if he can do 2 trucks and we need to bid out a
What did he
3rd
do
truck.
last year?
Just so that way we're not stuck with, we need 3 trucks. If he says, oh, I can only do 2 trucks and modifies his contract,
That's
I'm not
fine,
saying we
too.
won't go with him, but I just don't want to be last minute like we're dealing with, like other parts are dealing with. Not we're dealing with, but
That's good. Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
I don't want to be in that situation.
No.
Especially if we know ahead of time.
Yeah, we tried to get out in front of this kind of stuff. Here's
Voted on
another,
that, right?
No, we didn't, we were
All in
discussing it.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll make sure. Moving on.
she knows if you miss those votes. This is another credit application like the one you guys did last time. This is also for plow parts. This particular company is down in Massachusetts.
Why are we switching again?
Apparently, they can actually get the parts much quicker from this company. The other company is a little slow on the draw, so he would like to have the option.
So we're gonna close the count? Oh, he wants the option.
He, just in case one company doesn't have it, he needs to have the option to go to the other company.
Why doesn't nobody in New Hampshire have parts? They have a hard time believing, all the
My other-
Fisher
my other
dealers
question is-
in the state of New Hampshire, we have to go to Massachusetts or Maine to buy parts.
My other question is I'm not against having options, but is this something that, like, with this option, is he can just come to us when it's a need? It doesn't sound like this is something that he's gonna use all the time.
Well, during the winter, if a chain breaks or a gear breaks or the sander needs parts, if he has to wait 2 weeks to come to the Board of Selectmen and say, hey, I need something, I mean, that puts the
Well, he's
truck out of
allowed to
commission.
spend up to so much, right, before he's gotta come to us?
2,500.
So even if he had to buy something that was more than 2,500, he'd have to come to us anyway, either way.
Yeah, this is assuming that the one company can get those parts.
I understand that, but he still would have to come. So let's say he goes to that company and they say they can't get the parts, it's gonna cost, we're estimating the part's gonna cost $3,000. Obviously, he knows he's gonna have to come to us. He can say, hey, I can't get that part at this company, but I can get it here. You don't need a lot of credit. He comes to us and say, hey, I can't get this part here. He's gonna have to come to us if it's over $3,000 anyways.
Well, It's not a price thing for
2,500,
this.
whatever it is.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
This is for the plow trucks.
Yeah,
it's for the Sanders, yeah.
Where did we
Sanders
buy,
plow
where did we
equipment.
buy the trucks?
Where did we buy the trucks? The last truck we got was from Grapponi, and they outfitted it. But they didn't do
Whitefield outfitted the last truck with a
yes,
sander.
they did
So
the,
the point I'm making is, we had a local guy outfit the truck.
Mm-hmm.
When I say, I don't mean by local, I mean by in New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire.
So why can't we find a guy to buy parts in New Hampshire, we gotta go to
Di-
Massachusetts?
different truck, different style sander. The sander that
All
they
right,
were using,
so-
the highway sanders, that guy went out of
So did we
business.
buy those sanders at, okay.
They folded, and they're just not here anymore.
I just find it hard to believe we can't get these parts in New Hampshire.
I just find it hard to believe that our original person that we get the parts for ain't willing to go find the parts for us and charge us an up fee, a 10% fee like every other business does.
They went out of plow business
Yeah,
completely.
they went out of business.
So
They're
wait,
still in business,
you-
but not in plow business.
So the company we're gonna keep a card that went out of business. I'm confused. You're saying that we're opening a new card so he has options. Now you're telling me that the first option doesn't sell any parts at all?
The person we originally bought the sander from.
Correct.
In Concord, no longer sells sanders,
I
they no
understand that
longer
part,
sell
but
parts.
what he's
So now
saying,
we have to go to another dealer.
I know, but what he's saying is, we have an account right
Right.
now that we can get parts from.
Right.
Might take longer than this second account that he
Right.
wants to take.
I understand that.
So it has nothing to do with where we got the sander.
No,
No.
So, what I'm saying is I have a hard time that saying that the company that we're going through to get our present parts now, that has the parts, ain't willing to find us the parts we need and charge us a 10% finder's fee like every other business does to find that part, that we have to have another account. That's my point,
I can't argue with that reasoning because.
that's what, if I was running the company, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't like all these credit.
That's what I would do. If you came to
Charlie
me,
can just, yeah.
if you came to me and I didn't have my part or a tool,
This
I'd
isn't a
get on
credit
the root
card,
of
it's just
computer,
a
find
account.
it,
It's a line of
$70,
credit.
charge you 85.
It's a line of
Bingo,
credit,
done.
it's not a credit card.
Bingo, done.
This is like the office being able to buy paper from WB
different
Mason.
paper companies.
Yeah, WB Mason or Staples is what this is. We have lines of credit for both accounts, and we go where we can find the cheapest paper. This is something similar.
So basically, the only thing these accounts for are to buy parts for the highway sanders,
Yes.
the brand name highway sander.
Yeah, the brand we have.
Not a Fisher sander or not a,
Yeah, my understanding, he can't get the parts for the highway sander.
all right,
The brand name, yeah, the brand name.
all right, I understand that.
So I'll make a motion to approve,
Purchase order.
no, it's not purchase, it's a credit agreement with J.C. Madigan Inc. out of Lancaster, Mass.
One second.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes
I'm gonna
3 to
vote
0. Nay.
And that's just, chairman just has to sign that, right?
Yeah, that's just the chair. DJ, you voted no?
Yeah, it doesn't really, I don't get it. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have options, but it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me that the first company wouldn't try to find the parts for us, but I guess they don't want to make money.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if I was a business owner and you came to me and I didn't have a tool, I'd find it for you and I'd just charge you 10%. That's what most places do. That's what, if you go to a car dealership and they can't get your part, they order it, you pay a 10% charge. You don't think you get it for their price, do you?
Go to Rock Auto, you can do it online.
Yeah, and then you gotta pay somebody to put it in.
So, all in favor?
We already voted.
You already voted,
Alright,
all right,
so
what
we're
else you
done.
got?
Why are we still discussing it?
Or not. Move on.
That's the auditor contract?
We already approved this, so you just need the chairman's signature, right?
Yep, that's
I'll make a motion to allow Chairman Wolf to sign the agreement with Plosick and Sanderson, which we already selected the auditor a meeting or so ago. I think it was the last meeting, was it?
I'll second. It was the last meeting.
Anything
Two
else?
signatures are required. What
Just
is
say-
that?
Minnie Mouse and Rick Wolf.
Oh, please note, 2 signatures are, oh, I guess we all signed this.
I'm just pointing it out before I.
It says 2 signatures are required, so governance and management signature?
Is that Joe or who is it? I
So
don't
we're the
know.
governance signature, I think.
your governance.
So who's the management signature?
I am management.
But you don't have any authority to sign contracts.
That's why it's going to you guys.
So who's gonna sign it, the vice chair or the chair?
So are we supposed to make a motion to allow him to sign it? Would that be the simple
Make
solution
the
to
law,
that?
I'll make a motion to, allow, Joe Gantha to, execute this one agreement.
Emphasis on one.
One.
So am I gonna sign it or is he
Come
gonna
on,
sign
leave
it?
it open-ended.
I'm gonna sign it
You're
and then
gonna
he's gonna
sign
sign
it,
it. All right.
I'll
All in
second that
favor?
amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, I made it.
No, you're gonna sign on the governance, and he's gonna
Yeah,
sign.
right. Sorry I brought it up, but I saw the sticky there. I didn't try to make it confusing.
With governance.
All right, hold on, I'm ready.
Ready? In your, sitting on the desk in front of you before you guys showed up, we put the MS1
Yeah.
document in front of you. If you're comfortable with approving this tonight, you can just make a motion and vote to accept it. If not, you can take your time and review it.
This is a pretty standard form, so I'll make a motion to accept the MS1 for 2017.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing
Was
none?
was there any big change with the inventory compared to last year?
You know, not a lot. The current use came down a few acres. It was about 30 acres, I think. Tax credits were up a little bit because of the veterans.
So did overall value of the property go up slightly?
Yeah, the overall values have gone up since 2015. It was like 31 million.
Okay.
So yeah, all values have gone up.
So you got the one we got to sign?
No, Fred will produce that
Oh, okay.
when he gets it from DRA, and then you guys will sign it.
All right.
But you had to approve it before he could actually print it and make it official.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So is there one to sign, or we don't have to sign
You
nothing?
can't sign it yet.
There's nothing to sign.
What's that?
This is the workman's comp. We just need to post that, but we need a signature from the selectmen on this.
Is this just the chairman?
That's just the chair, yeah.
Just
This-
to prove we have work this going.
It's the posting that legally we have to put up in all
the
the...
I make a motion to allow Rick Wolf to sign this on behalf of the Board of Selectmen. It's the workers' comp law notice of compliance to the employees.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Rec Commission, Beth Boudreau's background check came back, and she was cleared by the state with no record.
So we just have to sign it.
Let me see.
We already approved her, right?
Yeah, you need to sign, is that the updated one?
I don't know. You're the one that's supposed to bring that to us.
I had a couple of them. Ms. Vina Dow would like to be on the recycling committee. She's-
No way.
She sent a letter, and this is the...
No. Not gonna happen. I thought we were discussing probably doing away with the recycling committee.
Okay.
Pretty sure you brought it up, didn't you, Scott?
Actually, I didn't,
You did bring it up.
I didn't, no, my thing is, we didn't nominate anybody, so we don't even need to bring that up.
There's already people on the recycling committee.
Oh, okay.
So nobody was nominated, right? I mean, did you nominate somebody? I didn't nominate.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying, you were talking about abolishing them, but there's already people on the committee.
Fair enough, okay. Moving on. Appointing,
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
I don't know what happened
A
there.
lot of time, just for the record, okay, we've talked about these on appointing committees. Typically, if somebody puts in a letter, that doesn't automatically mean they get on the committee.
I understand.
I understand
And
that.
then you consider it, it's clear the board didn't want to make a nomination. Just leave it
I
at that.
thought
That's
we
what
were
I was
still
trying to
talking about, because I know you had discussed about,
I said, we could have, well,
you said
we could abolish the
recycling committee.
when did I say that?
I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's probably in one of the minutes, but
I mean,
I'm gonna have to start recording them myself, I guess.
well, no, it's on TV. If I said it.
Might
it's
be
on
not
TV.
public.
Well, then you shouldn't even be talking about it then.
It's a committee, I guess the people.
I didn't bring it up.
Uh-oh, we're getting rough here
Yeah,
now.
man, you guys are tough tonight. Okay, appointing a representative to the the Stratford Regional Planning Commission. Victoria Parmalee would
Yeah.
like to be reappointed.
That's fine. Make a motion to reappoint Victoria Pomley to the Stratford Regional Planning
Commission.
Commission. Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for volunteering. What's next?
Oh, manifest, miscellaneous signatures, that's,
Oh, you're done with that? Moving on to approval of purchase orders and miscellaneous signatures. We all done with all that?
yeah, you got it all. I do have a couple of things for the board.
All right.
I guess this is an approval. The recycling committee would like to put up a sign outside the swap shop that asks folks to not put bedding, sofa pillows, or stuffed toys into the swap shop. They also wanted to say no car seats, safety seats. And that's all.
But they can dump car seats at the dump, right?
Yeah, into the dumpster.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're just not allowed to, they're
Yeah,
asking not to put
I'm
them.
fine with that. I mean, are we all fine with that? I don't think that, we don't need to make a
Was
motion
it just
for that.
stuffed animals, clothing, and what?
They wanted to say no bedding, sofa pillows, or stuffed toys, no child safety seats, and the town of Northwood will not be responsible for anything taken from the swap shop.
That's
Just as a-
part, that's in the on the brochure anyways.
It is.
My only thing is, I agree with the child seats. The bedding one, I agree with most of the time, but there is sometimes you get new stuff, so I mean, technically the bedding should be going in the Goodwill anyways, so. Half a dozen one, half a dozen another, but it's just a sign.
Yeah, so, but we wanted, ask the board, it's your swap shop. They also wanted to let you know that they
Dog's
were,
been dead for a year and a half. They're just waking up.
Anyways, we're not talking about that, but that's okay.
what?
I'm just confused. All right, yeah.
My, thing from the dog officer, my dog's been dead for a year and a half, so if anybody in town gets him,
Did you
evidently.
bury it in the pet cemetery and come back to life?
I got a death certificate and I got him cremated. I guess I gotta give it to the town before they were
So
leaving.
are we purchasing this sign or are they making it?
They'll be buying the sign. No, I'm sorry. NRA provides free signs, this will be one of those free signs.
Yeah, but I'm confused. I was led to believe, and I could be wrong with this, is NRA will provide signs, but they have to be pursuant to an RSA. They don't just particularly make up a sign to say whatever you want it to say.
I think they can make signs anything
I
they
don't
want.
believe that's the way it
So
works.
which NRA, is it Natural Rifle Association?
And RRA too.
I don't believe that's.
Rifle
I
Association.
don't believe that's 100% the way it works. I don't think you can tell them exactly what you want. I think it's based on what.
They got pre-made signs.
You have
Yes.
some pre-made signs.
Yeah.
So hopefully they had pre-made signs, says no
No
dumping
bedding.
of staff.
My chances are it's probably not going to be that way.
In addition, they
I
wanted,
understand why they're doing it. It's a safety thing, I think, and I'm fine with it.
Health reasons on the pillows and the bedding, I think.
Ultimately, the sign is great, but ultimately it still comes down to policing it.
yeah. They also wanted, the recycling committee wanted to let you know they were going to move forward with the magnet program they talked to you guys about earlier in the year, to mail out magnets just as.
Stick on ones.
Yeah. So, and they understand it's been a while since you talked about it, and they just wanted to give you a heads up before they started. In the news, Northern Pass transmission lines, they've released their environmental impact statement, in case anybody cares. And next month, budget season starts. I sent out the schedule and asked for changes. If you guys have any changes, let me know. The 19th is the first day for budget hearings. And, gentlemen, that's all I have for you tonight.
All right. I guess we're gonna move, nothing under particular file, none of that.
I have an individual one.
Was
I
that
have just a question. I don't know if we can discuss
Just
this.
selectmen comment?
Yeah, I don't know if we can discuss this public or non-public, so stop me if we can. When did we decide that we changed hours and days for the transfer station attendants? I noticed that when you briefly advertised that you wrote Saturdays and Sundays. It was always one weekday when that position, or those positions were originally done, it was always one weekday and one weekend per person.
Yep.
Besides the what used to be the full-time, but the supervisor position worked all 4 days. Well, they weren't supposed to when we decided to change that, but that obviously changed. My question is when did we decide that we were gonna make one person particularly work weekends and one person work days?
We didn't.
Decided that?
The ad said must be able to work weekends. Joe schedules the folks, and they're under the understanding that they should be able to work one day during the weekend.
Well, I feel that we're, I guess, catering to one particular employee and not making him work weekends because he don't want to work weekends, and I don't feel that's fair to the other employee. That's just that's what I've seen.
Now you're cutting into,
Okay. I just said stop me whenever.
No, we can have a
stopping you
discussion.
now.
No, that's,
I'm just recommending you stop.
Fine. I said stop me
We'll
whenever.
discuss it after.
yeah, well, just, I do
Now
have
you're
non,
getting into HR. You're starting to cross over.
That's
into
fine.
HR.
Stop me and we can
That's
talk in
fine.
non-public.
We'll talk in non-public about it.
Just wanted to bring it
to
up.
that point, though, I know the supervisor has spoke with his staff, and they are happy with the way the situation is.
We'll discuss it.
Any comments, Scott?
Yeah, actually, I have, so anyways, last year, we put in the budget to purchase the accounting software. And, not to get into a lot of details, but the exact amount of that software, I don't think was, long story short, we did not ask for enough money. I was wondering are we getting to a point where we can determine, I would rather, if we have the money, what I'm saying is if we can purchase that software so that we don't have to ask for the money again next year,
Yes.
what's it looking like? When do you think you would be able to tell us whether we can move forward with that purchase?
I think we'd get a better feel for it once we get into the last quarter of the year. Right now, with,
So October 1st.
something like that, yeah, around there. We'd have a better feel for
Well,
what's
then
gonna
my
feel
next
like.
question is, if we were to order it, how long does it take to get put in?
Oh, I don't know that. I can find out, though.
And, the other thing I said, so the price is what, 30, how much was it? 30 something?
Was it that much off?
No, it was awful lot.
It was, we
We don't-
appropriated 16 or
What,
something.
we appropriated 16?
Yeah, something.
Something like that, yeah. The paperwork's in my office. I didn't bring it with me.
All right, that's all right.
Yeah.
I don't need to, but I would like to, we need
Keep it
it.
in mind.
We have to, but we're gonna have to go forward and ask for it again. Because it is something we need. I mean, we can probably make it this year, but I know that's something like, the life of that product is starting to,
Yeah.
and so I think if we can, we did tell Budget Committee we need a new system. Unfortunately, the background information did not pan out exactly like it should have, but I would like to make an attempt to purchase that this year if the funds are available.
From unexpended.
Yeah, I don't want to go back and say, re-ask for money and put it in next year's budget.
Yeah, let me, I can get with the company and get some numbers together and then find out the installation time. That's not a problem.
That's all I have.
I have a question. When are we gonna cut down the dead trees that are around the town hall and some of the other trees that were talked about in other areas of town?
Yeah, Charlie was getting quotes on those. So we're waiting for Carl, the guy that's doing the work on the roads. He wanted to bid on that too, so we're waiting for a couple bids to come in. But we found, I don't know, maybe 6 over here by the school, on the other side of the school that need to come down, so.
I have a question. Do you have any idea when he's gonna be done on Sherburne Hill Road? I see he does a little now and then, and I'm sure he's doing it as a fill-in, and I know he gave us a good price and all that, and I was just wondering if you had an idea, if he plans on finishing it before the first of the year or whenever.
I think he
Because
does.
are we gonna get into budgetary problems if we carry, from
He'll be
one
done.
year to the next year
Oh,
or whatever?
he's gotta be done by, like, you gotta tell him, it's like, well, how close is he to being done?
I see a lot of trees left up there.
There's
Well,
some
what's
of
the
big
deal with the
ones that-
trees? We gotta get them removed, right?
Yeah, they are working on it, but I'm not saying he's not going fast enough. I just wanted to try to get a heads up so that we don't get into that problem, is what my point was, basically.
Let me get an update. He's been kind of chipping away at it, and he still needs to grind some stuff.
I understand what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
No,
make a
no,
problem. I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page and it's gotta get done by when it has to get done.
Yep. I'll get an update from him.
Because I know, and I don't know if there's been any agreements made with some people up there, but I noticed in some places there's been no trees cut, in other places there's been trees cut, and I hope we're not making different agreements with different people to
We're not.
not cut their trees. I didn't know if that's why they were hopping around the way they were.
No, they've been topping them and then coming back through and whacking them down to the stump. So that has something to do with it. And then the size too, because they need larger crews to take out the obviously bigger trees. So, but no, everything that has a mark on it's coming out. Just, we even had to take out Gunner's mailbox.
Oh, no.
The tree that had his mailbox on it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How'd that go over?
We put a new mailbox in for him.
Oh, that's good.
I think he's happy.
All right.
Public comment?
Yeah. What's that? No, I haven't. Yeah, I want to mention one other thing. I'd just like to mention that I noticed that some of this vandalism in town at the Northwood Beach, we seem to keep having problems with vandalism. The toilet roofs have been caved in and, we just keep seeing and have problems there. I don't know what we can do to fix it. I know if we put cameras up and they find them, I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna disappear, and we just keep seem having problems in that area, and I don't know what we can do to monitor it.
Does Northwood have a neighborhood watch?
There was a couple more rocks off of the wall one morning when I showed up there, and I put them back on myself, not that I'm bragging. But even with the toilet roof, me and another guy, we pushed it out, because it was caved in, so when you opened the door, you walked in, and it slammed you in the head. And this isn't the first time it's been done. What they do, they get on the wall, they get on top of it, and evidently jump on it or whatever they do and push the roof inside
Has Northwood
out.
ever considered a neighborhood watch?
I don't know.
Actually, I'll share this with you.
I've heard that some people know who's doing it, and they're afraid to say anything
Well,
because
they are,
those people
because
have.
they said something in the past and they got retaliated
I mean, that
against.
shouldn't,
We
that shouldn't
shouldn't make
happen.
speculation that,
I talked to a guy that had turned some kids in, and he got retaliated against. He got his boat painted that said rat, he got his valve stems taken out of his trailer tires, and I wouldn't call again.
no, I mean, I'm just saying. We have an issue in town, and I think it needs to be addressed, but I don't think we should get into details.
What details, other than it's a certain few that's been doing it right along?
I'm only asking the question of whether or not we've ever considered a neighborhood watch.
Well, I was gonna say, that I gotta get the exact date, but, there's gonna be a safety forum at the Republican Committee, Glenn's coming in to speak to the committee about public safety in Northwood. So, if you're interested, stop by.
Sure, the chief would love to see you.
Yeah,
Oh, guys.
I won't make any comments to that.
Thank you.
Okay, non-public, what do we got?
Yeah,
You gotta make a motion to go.
Oh, wait a
Whoa,
minute, she's
She
got a
had a
question.
question.
We're
See
moving
how I'm
on
trying-
to citizens forum for the second time.
The recycling committee, are you really thinking of getting rid of it? People might be interested.
I made no comment to that.
Well, I can-
Transparency is a key, I guess.
So it was mentioned that the recycling committee might be eliminated? Is that under consideration or
Nothing official.
nothing official? Thank you.
I'm not gonna, I can make a comment to that, but I'm not gonna. Oh, he's not gonna.
All right, so we gotta go to RSA 91A colon. I got to pull out my thing where it's all highlighted.
Colon A3, it's right there.
Sorry.
Have a great night.
D. Is it just D you gotta go under?
We got,
A
hopefully we didn't bore
paragraph
you.
2.
D and, actually, D, A, and C.
Oh, you only bolded D. So we gotta do a roll
Roll
call.
call.
Donald Hudson, aye.
Rick
Aye.
Wolf, aye.
Scott Breyer, aye. We're now in non-public.
Non-public.
Motion to come out of non-public.
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Donald Hudson.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye. Scott Breyer.
3-0.
Motion to seal the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to,
This paper's just like this.
hire Michael Hedman to,
Highway Department.
to the, regular part-time position at grade 2, step 1 at the highway department.
I'd like to, second that.
He's transfer station?
Yeah, he's a transfer
Oh,
station.
all right, sorry, transfer station.
I'll, second that.
I have a question. What is the amount on the,
$9.99.
999, it's the entry reach for that.
I wonder we have trouble hiring people.
I gotta be, while we're on this discussion, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I feel if we are doing the schedule to make it better for one person or the
Oh,
other.
subject to a background check.
For Hedman,
He's already had one.
He's already had one?
he's been working with us
Oh,
steadily.
Is maybe we should, with that job title, we should possibly consider maybe a shift diff for the part-time guy on Saturday and Sunday if he's gonna work every weekend. It's just a thought, cause I feel that if you're gonna get stuck working every weekend, it's worth more than working the weekdays.
Yeah, it's up to the board.
It's just a thought. We can obviously vote on that and discuss that later.
can we, okay.
We can vote on this and discuss that later. I'm just saying it's a thought. It's something that I would think about. I thought about. But as far as hiring them, aye.
We'll call a vote.
So you made the motion, right?
Yeah, and I
Have a
seconded for
second?
discussion, and I was just saying
All right,
about,
so we're gonna vote on it.
yeah. on
All in
that.
favor? See no
Aye.
more discussion? Aye.
Aye.
And then I'd like to make a motion to hire Richard Walsh as a call laborer at grade 4, step 5, subject to a background check.
Second.
Discussion. Is that the same rate he was at last year?
That would be the next step.
So you're giving him a increase for coming back this year compared to last year?
I'm not giving him the increase, but it's the scheduled step.
That it was voted on by the taxpayers.
Yeah,
So,
it's in the
I think
schedule.
do we have to do that because he's a
No,
returning
Because
employee?
he's a temp.
So we can keep him at the same rate?
The fire department guys get steps, even though they're just
Oh.
temp guys. It's normal to give them a step.
I'm not saying we shouldn't, I'm just-
Fire guys are part-time.
Our lifeguards are seasonal and they get a step.
Wait,
I agree.
wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second.
Guys, trying to, Scott!
Wait a second. We're hiring a fireman now? This is,
No, I'm just saying, this is the firemen, if,
Every year they give the firemen
They
a
get a
step
step.
increase.
as
But
just.
they're
one
actually part-time, non-temp.
I'm not against giving him a
I don't
step.
give a shit about the,
This guy's. He'll edit it out.
it's getting too late.
It is.
It's getting too late. Excuse me, I apologize
All
for the,
right, so what else?
I need a vote, Scott, DJ.
Aye.
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 All right, and then I would like to, based on a a letter I received, hardship. I'd like to grant a 60-day extension to, trace,
You have the ones on the front page.
to map 109 lot 78, 60-day extension to pay $800. Included in that motion is if a payment is not received in 60 days, then we should take the property.
It would be the lien. We'd
Lien the
yeah.
property.
I'll second. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't somebody I knew.
Any more discussion? Seeing no discussion, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
And then I'll make a motion to allow, 60-day extension on the, to,
The lot,
the lot,
Oh, yeah, the sale of the
for suite.
the suite, agreement of 60-day extension. So that,
I think I passed it down to you, Rick. Let me look.
I don't have it. Must be in there somewhere. Unless it got buried or something. The sweet paper, you got it?
oh shit, did I get?
I don't know. I didn't see it, but maybe I did. I'll have to look through my papers. You didn't see the paper on the sweet property, did you? I didn't see it either.
You know what, if you vote on the extension, I think it'll be okay. We can take it in the minutes and put it in the record.
I don't got it.
I don't see it either.
Sure you didn't take it back?
Is that it? Oh, in Rick's hand.
This?
Yes.
That's it.
All right, sorry. I found it, it's all the counts.
Gives you don't know it's back.
I saw Stratford, New Hampshire, I thought, oh.
Hey, can you throw that down there?
Okay, good job, guys.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.